Chapter 36-33. Before they reached the Saint Star, several streams of light rushed out from the Saint Star and blocked Jian Wushuang. A cold voice sounded. These people were obviously the guards of the Saint Star. It was naturally impossible for the Earth Saint Star Master to be the only one on such a huge Earth Saint Star. In addition, there were also many cultivators who relied on him. They were all principles masters with different strengths. For example, these people in front of them were also principles masters, however, their strength was very ordinary. They were only at the second or third level of the void. However, even if their strength was weak, because of the Earth Saint Star Master behind them, they were able to walk unhindered in the surrounding territories. As time passed, their mentality also changed and they became arrogant. Especially in such an occasion, when someone came to the Earth Saint Star, they would normally come to visit the Earth Saint Star Master. Therefore, their attitude became even colder, and they even had a trace of arrogance. This was also the order of the Earth Saint Star Master. Whoever came to the Earth Saint Star would first show off their strength. But this time, it was obvious that they had raised an iron plate. Seeing the arrogant expressions of the people in front of him, Jian Wushuang could not help but smile. Taoist Xian God, who was next to him, snorted coldly. In an instant, his aura at the ruler realm swept out directly. It pressed down on the bodies of the principles masters. The principles masters were immediately suppressed to the point that they did not dare to breathe loudly. The arrogance on their faces disappeared in an instant. There was only fear. They immediately understood the identity of the person who had come, and they became even more afraid. Go and inform them that Star Palace Master, Xian God, and Bloodsword Master have come to pay a visit to Earth Saint Star Master, Xian God said. Star Palace Master? Bloodsword Master? The principles masters immediately looked at Jian Wushuang in shock. They were not very familiar with Xian God, but from his aura, they knew that he was a high and mighty ruler. He looked at Earth Saint Star Master behind them. However, Bloodsword Master was a well-known figure to them. As the strongest among the principles masters, Jian Wushuang was very famous in this territory, and the principles masters were full of admiration for him. He had defeated 5 experts of the pinnacle of the 6th realm by himself, which was enough to make countless principles masters look up to him. After knowing the identities of Jian Wushuang and Taoist Xian God, the principles masters immediately became respectful. One of them returned to the Earth Saint Star to report the news. Taoist Xian God was right. Earth Saint Star Master was indeed in the Earth Saint Star, and he was living a very leisurely life. In the center of a huge and beautiful manor, there was a high platform. On the high platform, there were many beautiful dancers dancing gracefully. These dancers were all captured from the star world around Earth Saint Star Master. They were all very weak, and had not reached the level of the Principles Master. They were only at the level of saints. However, in the Earth Saint Star, saints were no different from the Principles Master. What these beauties had to do was to make the Earth Saint Star Master believe in them as much as possible. Around the high platform, there were 3 beautiful women who were wearing revealing clothes. 2 of them were serving them, and one of them was sitting on the Earth Saint Star Master's lap. The Earth Saint Star Master was drinking the fine wine and fruits that Meiji had handed over to him, while moving his hands up and down on Meiji's lap. It was needless to say how much he enjoyed it. But at this time, the Principles Master who had come in to report had arrived in the manor. He respectfully called out from a distance, Star Master. Star Palace Master Xian God and Bloodsword Master have already arrived outside the star. They say that they're here to pay you a visit. Earth Saint Star Master's expression slightly moved, and the flesh on his face slightly faded. He slowly stood up. He said, I also know Star Palace Master. He is just a low-grade ruler. Who is that Bloodsword Master? A Principles Master. Do you want me to know about him? Star Master. That Bloodsword Master is now publicly acknowledged as the strongest Principles Master in this territory. Not long ago, in the depths of Devil Smoke Valley, he single-handedly defeated 5 pinnacle of the 6th realm experts, and even killed one of them. His name shook the world. The Principles Master respectfully said, Visit Rietal. Me for extra chapters. Oh, The Earth Saint Star Master raised his eyebrows, but then he sneered. To be able to defeat 5 pinnacle of the 6 realm experts by himself, his strength is indeed not bad. But so what? He's still just a principal's master and ant. Tell them that I'm currently in high spirits, and have no time to care about them. Tell them to scram. With that, the Earth Saint Star Master continued to lie down, enjoying the service of the surrounding beauties. As for the principal's master who had come in to report, his expression was bitter. He had been in the Earth Saint Star for many years, and knew what kind of temper this Earth Saint Star Master had. However, the crux of the matter was that the one waiting outside was a ruler after all, and the strongest of the principal's master, directly asking the other party to scram. Even though the Earth Saint Star Master dared to say this, he might not dare to say it. Listen, tell them exactly what I just said. If you say one wrong word, I'll cut you into pieces. The voice of the principal's master rang out again. Yes, yes. The principal's master, who was still hesitating, immediately left the manor in fear. When he came to the outside of the Earth Saint Star, and saw Taoist Xian God and Jian Wushuang, the principal's master felt bitter in his heart. But he still told them exactly what the principal's master had said. However, his tone was certainly not as tough as the Earth Saint Star Master's. Guys, my Star Master said that he is in high spirits, and has no time to care about you. He wants you to get lost. After saying that, the principal's master lowered his head in fear. He did not dare to look at Jian Wushuang and Taoist Xian God. However, he did not know that Jian Wushuang and Taoist Xian God did not get angry after hearing that. Instead, they smiled faintly. Earth Saint Star Master is indeed as unreasonable as the rumors say. Taoist Xian God smiled. At least there's a ruler visiting us now. It's fine if Earth Saint Star Master doesn't want to see us, but he wants to chase us away. Thanks. No wonder he doesn't have any good friends in this territory. Jian Wushuang also smiled. If he doesn't want to see us, what should we do now? Taoist Xian God asked. There is a layer of formation in the Earth Saint Star, but it doesn't seem to be very strong. With our strength, it shouldn't be difficult to break it, Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile. Since the Earth Saint Star Master doesn't want to see us, we can only force our way in. Force our way in? Sure. Taoist Xian God smiled. Hearing the conversation between Jian Wushuang and Taoist Xian God, the principal's masters in front of them were frightened. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 36-34. Saint Star Master, my lords. The principal's masters wanted to say something, but Jian Wushuang and Taoist Xian God had already made their moves. Boom! The earth-shaking aura of the ruler suddenly erupted, and immediately caused the suppression of the array on Saint Star. However, the array on Saint Star was not too profound. It was not a problem to stop the principal's master. But it was not realistic to stop the ruler. Jian Wushuang did not make a move at all. But Taoist Xian God easily broke the array, and the two of them directly entered the Earth Saint Star. Rumble! The array broke, and the entire Earth Saint Star began to shake crazily. In the central manor of the Earth Saint Star, the dancing beauties stopped and scattered in fear. Earth Saint Star Master, who was on the exquisite bed, suddenly stood up. A fierce look flashed in his eyes. Haha, Saint Star Master, you really know how to enjoy yourself. Hearty laughter also rang out in the Saint Star. Taoist Xian God and Jian Wushuang, who were speaking, had also arrived in the void where the manor was. They both looked at Saint Star Master on the bed. This is Saint Star Xian God. You broke into the formation without my consent. It seems that you don't care about me at all. Saint Star Master's voice was cold. Humph, just you wait. I'll go to your Star Palace in a while. Haha, my Star Palace's base is there. You can go if you want to, but I don't know if you'll be able to come out again. Taoist Xian God was very relaxed. What a joke. Now that Jian Wushuang had joined the Star Palace, the battle strength of 4 rulers was there. In addition, Taoist Xian God had operated the Star Palace for so many years. The various arrays and techniques in the Star Palace, the Earth Saint Star could not compare to it. If the Earth Saint Star Master had recklessly run to the Star Palace, He was really confident that he could completely keep the Earth Saint Star Master. Earth Saint Star Master, we came here specially to visit you. We have no ill intentions, Jian Wushuang said. No ill intentions? What a joke. You directly broke through the formation and entered the Earth Saint Star. How dare you say you have no ill intentions? The Earth Saint Star Master sneered. And who are you? You're just a principal's master, but you can't even greet me. You're so disrespectful to me. I can kill you for that. Jian Wushuang was stunned. He had heard that Earth Saint Star Master had a strange temper and was very difficult to get along with. It seemed that he was right. Earth Saint Star Master, the Blood Sword Master beside me has an extraordinary position in our Star Palace. He is no less than my Palace Master. You'd better be a little more polite to him. Taoist Xian God said coldly. Haha, I'm dying of laughter. How can I be so respectful to a mere immortal saint? Xian God, you've lived for so many years. Have you become a dog? Earth Saint Star Master laughed. Taoist Xian God's face turned cold. Jian Wushuang's eyes also turned cold. Since Earth Saint Star Master is so difficult to talk to, there's no need to be polite with him. Earth Saint Star Master, let me ask you, do you have the Ice Heart Glazed Jade? Ice Heart Glazed Jade? Earth Saint Star Master curled his lips. I guess that you're here for the Ice Heart Glazed Jade. Tens of thousands of years ago, someone from your Star Palace came to me to ask about the whereabouts of the Ice Heart Glazed Jade, but I sent him away. I didn't expect that he would come here in person. So you have the Ice Heart Glazed Jade in your hand? Jian Wushuang asked. What does it have to do with you? Earth Saint Star Master sneered. And who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me in such a tone? I will discipline you on behalf of my realm today. With that, Earth Saint Star Master waved his hand. Instantly, a surge of majestic divine power gathered in the fat void around Jian Wushuang and formed a huge palm that flapped toward Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang's face darkened. Taoist Xian God snorted. Similarly, a surge of divine power swept over the huge palm, which immediately began to collapse inch by inch. Blood Sword, there's no need to waste words with him. Just attack. Earth Saint Star Master is a typical bully. He won't be honest until he suffers a little, Taoist Xian God said. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly, and the Cyan Spirit Divine Sword appeared in his hand. What do you want to fight? Earth Saint Star Master looked disdainful. Xian God, it's not that I look down on you. What can you do to me by yourself? You can't do anything to me. Although I can't do anything to you, I can do something to those people in your Star Palace. Just you wait. I won't let today go. Earth Saint Star Master, you've misunderstood. Your opponent this time is not me but him. Taoist Xian God pointed at Jian Wushuang with a playful smile. Him? Earth Saint Star Master looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise, then burst into laughter. Haha, he's just a principal's master. Do you expect him to fight with me? Xian God, have you been kicked in the head by a donkey? Laugh. You'll cry later. Xian God sneered in his heart. Jian Wushuang directly attacked. Whoosh! His figure flashed and floated forward like a ghost. A cold killing intent had completely locked onto Saint Star Master. You're courting death. Saint Star Master's eyes also flashed with killing intent. He directly swung his palm toward Jian Wushuang. An expert at the ruler realm could shake the world with a single move. It seemed like a simple slap, but the divine power contained in it was enough to easily crush an expert at the pinnacle of the sixth realm. Unfortunately, he met Jian Wushuang, the only principal's master in this territory. The moment the Earth Saint Star Master slapped his palm, Jian Wushuang also struck out. Buzz! A cold scarlet sword light with a suffocating brutal aura slashed out, like an angry ancient ferocious beast that had completely exploded. The Peerless Sword Manual, Shi Xiang. It must be known that during the 100,000 years in that special space, he had made an incredible breakthrough in swordsmanship. His strongest skill, Starfire Burning Sun, was already an advanced level 7 skill, while the other swordsmanship, for example, most of the swordsmanship in the Wushuang Sword Manual had been upgraded to the level of a level 7 skill. For example, this move by Shi Xiang was an absolute skill at the level of a rank 7 ruler. At this moment, Jian Wushuang did not conceal his strength too much. He used all his strength to burst out the power of a ruler. Chapter 36-35. Advanced Ruler. Crash. The void of the Saint Star was mercilessly torn apart. The extremely violent sword light struck the palm and instantly cut it open. However, the sword light did not completely disappear. It still carried extremely powerful power and slashed toward the Saint Star Master behind him. What? Saint Star Master was shocked. He never expected that Jian Wushuang's sword would be so powerful that it could even defeat his attack. However, he was an expert at the ruler realm after all. In the face of this sudden change, he could still deal with it calmly. He took a step back and a golden red hammer appeared in his hand. He casually smashed the hammer into the void. However, ripples began to spread out crazily. When the ripples reached the sword light, the power of the sword light was weakened to the extreme. In the end, the sword light completely disappeared. Earth Saint Star Master regained his balance and looked at Jian Wushuang again. However, there was no longer the mockery and disdain in his eyes. Instead, there was a more serious look. The battle strength of a ruler? You have already broken through to become a ruler? No wonder you were able to defeat 5 masters of the 6th realm in Devil Smoke Valley. Humph, it turns out that you deliberately concealed your aura. Saint Star Master snorted. He thought that Jian Wushuang had long broken through to become a ruler, but he had concealed his aura. Therefore, when he was in Devil Smoke Valley, Jian Wushuang was able to defeat many principal's masters with his battle strength of a ruler. However, he did not know that when Jian Wushuang was in Devil Smoke Valley, he did not have the battle strength of a ruler. Instead, he waited for his return to Star Palace and entered closed-door cultivation for 3,000 years to make a breakthrough. However, even if he made a breakthrough, his battle strength was only at the ruler realm. His true realm was only that of a principal's master. However, the Earth Saint Star Master was not as confident as the Sky Rock ruler. The Sky Rock ruler was powerful and had a high vision. He was confident that no one in this territory could hide his aura from him. Therefore, he was very sure that Jian Wushuang was only a principal's master. However, the Earth Saint Star Master did not dare to think so. He thought that Jian Wushuang had made a breakthrough and only used a secret skill to hide his aura, so he did not see through it. Earth Saint Star Master, I just told you that your opponent is him. Taoist Xian God sneered. Humph, so what if the Blood Sword Master has made a breakthrough and become a ruler? He still can't do anything to me. The Earth Saint Star Master snorted. Really? Jian Wushuang curled his lips and attacked again. Whoosh! The sword light, with a hatred that would not rest until death, charged toward Saint Star Master. It was a rank 7 absolute art that would not rest until death. Boy, do you really think I'm afraid of you? Saint Star Master was not afraid at all. He held a golden red sledgehammer in each hand. The 2 golden red sledgehammers emitted a monstrous power and continuously smashed out. They collided with Jian Wushuang crazily. Clang, 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 clang. A series of low collision sounds could be heard. Each collision produced a huge boom in power, causing the surrounding void and the earth to tremble crazily. The entire Saint Star was on the verge of collapse. In the blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang and Saint Star Master had collided dozens of times. The two could be said to be evenly matched. Jian Wushuang had barely gained the upper hand with his various sword skills, but it was only a slight advantage. Haha, I said that you, a newly made ruler, can't do anything to me. Even if you join forces with the Xian God, I won't be afraid. If you two have the ability, kill me today. Otherwise, after today, I will launch a crazy revenge on your Star Palace. Unless the experts of your Star Palace are hiding in their nest, I will kill every single one of them until all the experts of your Star Palace are killed. Ha ha ha. Earth Saint Star Master laughed with a hint of madness in his voice. He was an extremely crazy person. His craziness, unbridled recklessness, and terrifying killing were well known in this territory. Because of this, few people in this territory dared to provoke him. However, Jian Wushuang and Taoist Xian God had offended him by coming to kill him. With his character and style, he would certainly take revenge crazily. Seeing how crazy the Earth Saint Star Master was, Daoist Xian God narrowed his eyes slightly. As for Jian Wushuang, his eyes turned cold. If you want to take revenge on Star Palace, it depends on whether you can survive today. As soon as he finished his words, Jian Wushuang's body suddenly shook. He activated his life divine power and heaven-cleaving skill. Once these two secret skills were used, especially the heaven-cleaving skill, Jian Wushuang's divine power instantly doubled. It was his original power, which was 3 times the power of a ruler. When the power exploded, Jian Wushuang also attacked. Boom! The void shook, and a huge sword shadow swept up. In an instant, it turned into a burning flame with unparalleled terrifying power, and directly covered the Earth Saint Star Master in front of him. It was an advanced level 7 skill, the strongest skill created by Jian Wushuang, Starfire Burning Sun. This sword move was awe-inspiring. The most important thing was the terrifying explosive power, hidden in the swordsmanship. Saint Star Master seemed to have noticed that Jian Wushuang's sword move was extraordinary. At this moment, he also used all his strength to swing the 2 red gold hammers in his hands at the sword light. At first, the power of the two seemed to be too far apart. It was not until the sword light that was burning with raging flames collided with the hammers. Boom! It was as if a volcano that had been silent for many years suddenly erupted. The power of the sword shadow completely exploded. The power was completely beyond the imagination of the Saint Star Master. Impossible! The Saint Star Master's face changed dramatically, and his eyes were wide open. He could clearly sense the terrifying power of the sword shadow. The power crushed him, and the 2 hammers in his hands changed directions. Then the sky was filled with flames and sword light. It was mercilessly devouring his godly body. Even with the protection of his supreme true treasure armor, Earth Saint Star Master was still in a terrible state. He was forced back, and it took him a long time to stop. When he raised his head again, blood oozed out of the corner of Saint Star Master's mouth. His aura was obviously weaker than before. Advanced Ruler. You have the battle strength of an advanced ruler. Saint Star Master stared at Jian Wushuang in disbelief. However, Jian Wushuang flipped his hand slightly, and a black magic sword suddenly appeared in his hand. Seeing the black magic sword, Saint Star Master could no longer calm down. Chapter 36-36. Bullying the weak and fearing the strong. The most powerful supreme treasure divine sword. Earth Saint Star Master's heart was already surging with waves. He did not even have a supreme treasure in his hand, but now Jian Wushuang took out a sword-type divine weapon that was just right for him to use. At this moment, the pressure on Earth Saint Star Master increased sharply. Saint Star Master, you should know very well that just now, I only used a supreme true treasure magic weapon to hurt you. And if I used this supreme true treasure magic sword, it would be enough to kill you. Jian Wushuang said coldly. Upon hearing this, no matter how reluctant Saint Star Master was, he had to admit that Jian Wushuang was telling the truth. Jian Wushuang had clearly displayed the battle strength of an advanced ruler. An advanced ruler was already a threat to him. But if this advanced ruler had another supreme true treasure magic weapon that was just right for him, his attack power would skyrocket, and he would become an extremely terrifying existence in terms of killing. To him, it was indeed a threat that could threaten his life. However, even though he knew this, Earth Saint Star Master did not intend to bow his head so quickly. Bloodsword Master, so what if you're stronger than me? You can kill me, and I can escape. You still can't do anything to me, Earth Saint Star Master said. Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang and Daoist Xian God both laughed. Earth Saint Star Master really won't shed a tear until he sees his coffin, Daoist Xian God sneered. Earth Saint Star Master, do you really think that we're completely unprepared? Jian Wushuang also smiled coldly. At the same time, he had already sent a message to the Temporal Temple Master in the outside world. Suddenly, a vast power of time and space exploded, covering the entire Earth Saint Star Master in the blink of an eye. A powerful space-time pressure directly pressed down on Saint Star Master. This is space-time lockdown. He actually used space-time lockdown in the universe void. How high is the use of space-time principle? Saint Star Master's expression changed drastically. Space-time lockdown was a relatively simple way to use space-time. One had to know that it was very easy to use space-time lockdown in an ordinary astral world, but in the universe void, it was much more difficult to use space-time lockdown than in an astral world. Under normal circumstances, even a ruler who was good at the space-time rule would find it difficult to use the space-time seal in the universe void. But now, as expected of the temporal temple master, he can use such a large space-time seal in the universe void. His use of the space-time principles is superb. Jian Wushuang was secretly amazed. Of course, he knew that the temporal temple master must have used a space-time supreme treasure to use the space-time seal. But even so, it was still amazing. Earth Saint Star Master, I'm afraid you don't know that I'm not the only ruler in Star Palace. There are 3 of them. The one who cast the time-space seal is another ruler in Star Palace who specializes in space-time principles. Now, do you still think you can escape from us? Taoist Xian God sneered. Earth Saint Star Master's face had completely darkened. With Jian Wushuang's strength and the supreme treasure divine sword in hand, he did not dare to confront him head-on. After all, if he were to fight Jian Wushuang head-on, with his strength, he could kill him as long as he had time. However, the surrounding space and time had been completely sealed, and with Xian Yi and Temporal Temple Master, he had no chance to escape. Knowing this, the Saint Star Master was terrified. Saint Star Master, hand over the ice heart glazed jade or else. Jian Wushuang's eyes were filled with killing intent. Blood Sword Master, Saint Star Master said, but his tone and attitude had completely changed. Previously, when he faced Jian Wushuang, he was high and mighty, and his face was full of disdain for Jian Wushuang, the principal's master. Even after Jian Wushuang revealed his battle strength as a ruler and made him restrain his disdain, his words and actions were still extremely arrogant. But now, the Saint Star Master revealed an extremely hypocritical smile. Sure enough, just like what Xian God said, the Saint Star Master is a bully. Jian Wushuang observed the change in the Saint Star Master's expression and could not help but reveal a trace of ridicule. Sword Master, it's not that I don't want to hand over the ice heart glazed jade, but I really don't have it. Earth Saint Star Master said bitterly. You don't have it. Jian Wushuang's expression turned cold. You're still lying. It seems that you really think you've lived for too long. As soon as he finished his words, Jian Wushuang swung his sword toward Earth Saint Star Master with one hand. Jian Wushuang had also activated his life divine power and heaven-cleaving skill, displaying the power of an advanced ruler. Most importantly, he had used the Netherworld divine sword. The pitch-black sword light mercilessly cut through the void and silently appeared in front of the Saint Star Master. The Saint Star Master was shocked and immediately brandished his sledgehammer to block the attack. However, he was immediately sent flying, and his body began to tremble violently. His aura was instantly depleted. It's too powerful. His swordsmanship is too powerful. I blocked the attack head-on, but the power of the attack still reached my body and destroyed a lot of my divine power. If I couldn't block this attack, the power of his attack would be enough to destroy 30% of my divine power. 4 strikes would be enough to kill me. Earth Saint Star Master was scared half to death. When he saw that Jian Wushuang was going to attack again, he immediately roared. Sword Master, stop. I'll tell you where the ice heart glazed jade is. Jian Wushuang stopped what he was doing and stared at Earth Saint Star Master. Hand it over. Sword Master, I don't have the ice heart glazed jade now. I can swear on the universe origin principles. Earth Saint Star Master said in a deep voice. Jian Wushuang's expression changed slightly. The universe origin principles was the supreme principles in the universe, which maintained the normal operation of the universe. The universe origin principles was supreme and followed the truth of the great Tao. Under normal circumstances, no one dared to violate the oath made to the universe origin principles. Even some powerful rulers, even some supreme beings did not dare to violate it. Since the Earth Saint Star Master dared to swear to the universe origin principles, he most likely did not have the ice heart glazed jade. Impossible. My Star Palace has investigated clearly. There are 3 pieces of ice heart glazed jade in this territory. One of them was destroyed, and the other one was used first. And the last one was obtained by luck. Is there anything wrong with that? Jian Wushuang said coldly. Chapter 36-37. The first is more. Di Xingxing Lord, what is going on here? Jian Wushuang asked with a frown. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I have just said that the Bingxing glazed jade has indeed been used by me. As for the purpose, I use Bingxing glazed jade to create a glazed avatar for me. Di Xingxing Lord replied. The glazed avatar? The 2-sided sword is a bit ugly. The cause of this incident was that when I was wandering in the depths of Red Rock Mountain, I accidentally broke into a land of opportunity, where I got an incomparably special secret technique, which can create a state of self in oneself. The avatar with a completely equivalent strength can even have his own consciousness, and he can go out and take risks on his own, which is really too much for me, said the Lord of the Earth. After all, the 3 major battlefields are too dangerous in many places. Even if they are the masters, they will run on thin ice in those dangerous places, and they will disappear forever if they are inadvertent. Because of this, in many places, I know that there are many opportunities there, but still afraid to venture, just because of fear of death. But if there is a clone with the same strength as me, it will be completely different. As long as I have this avatar, my deity can choose to stay on the holy star in this place all the time. The enjoyment should not be lawless, and my avatar can go to the 3 battlefields according to my will. Go to adventure and adventure in the dangerous place. Even if it falls down on the way, what is lost is just a clone. Because of this, I was very surprised when I got this mystery, and immediately began to think of ways to create such an avatar. However, although this occult mystery is good, the threshold for cultivation is very high, and there are so many treasures that are needed to shape the avatar, and it is too rare. I did not collect them at all. Until then, I got a piece of ice heart glass jade. The Bingxing glazed jade can shape the body of the glazed body. This glazed body is extremely intoxicant. It was extremely amazing. At that time, I thought whether I could use the glazed body shaped by the Bingli glass jade to replace my avatar. And when I tried, it really made me successful. So there is this Wu Qing who you see now dominates. After finishing speaking, the Lord of the Earth God was silent, and Jian Wushuang and Xian Shinto were silent. They have all understood what happened. The sacred star master of this place did get a piece of Bingxing glazed jade, but this Bingxing glazed jade was used by him to shape the glazed avatar, which is the master of Wu Qing. This Wuqing Lord is the product of Bingxing glazed jade. After the success of the glazed avatar, the deity of the Lord of the Earth has remained on the celestial star. Run through the 3 battlefields, take risks for him, search for opportunities and treasures. No wonder the Wu Qingzhe had no fame before his rise, and no one could trace his origins. It turned out that he was just an avatar of the Lord of the Stars. No wonder he has been sitting on the star of this place for years without worry. His original clone has been taking risks outside. This avatar Wu Qingzhe's is a glazed body. The breath on his body is very different from the divine Star Lord's deity. He has never taken the initiative to reveal the origin of the soul. Naturally, for so many years, no one has them. The 2 are linked together. The Xian Shinto man's face paled, but his gaze could not help looking at Jian Wushuang. At this look, he immediately found that Jian Wushuang's complexion had become extremely ugly, and there was a trace of anger in the eyebrows. Irritated, of course, Swordsman, he finally learned that there is a piece of Bingxing glazed jade in the hand of the Lord of the Stars. This piece of glazed jade represents a great hope to him, and is of vital importance. For this reason, he did not hesitate to personally kill this holy star. But in the end, he did not expect that the Lord of the Stars used the ice-hearted glazed jade many years ago to create a glazed avatar. If it is used, it will be used, but no one outside knows about it, which made him look forward to coming here with great hope. But in the end it is such a result. How can he not be angry? Luli Avatar, Di Xingxing Lord, you are very good, very good. Jian Wushuang's voice was extremely cold. Hearing this, the Lord of the Divine Stars was guilty, and he could see that Jian Wushuang was extremely eager for that Bingxin Liuli. And now this result is obviously unacceptable to Jian Wushuang. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I can't help it. I have too many strong people in this territory. Many people will not hesitate to fight against me if they catch the opportunity. So I will be cautious everywhere. Like this glazed avatar. Although I have shaped it, I haven't mentioned it to anyone. This is also to conceal my whole card. But I didn't expect to attract the Lord of the Blood Sword to you. Sorry. The Divine Star Lord can only repay his sins. But in fact he didn't need to pay for it. After all, everyone is the same. He used a trick to deal with the cards, almost all of which are hidden and easily not exposed. The Lord of the Stars used Bingxin glazed jade to create a glazed avatar with the same strength as the deity. Will be swaggered. This time if it was for Jian Wushuang to kill him, he had no choice but to expose the incident in front of the sword. From the perspective of the Lord of the Earth God it is true, but from the perspective of Jian Wushuang, he is full of expectations, but he is so disappointed to leave. It is inevitable that he will be annoyed. And so annoyed unwilling to follow of course, he wants to vent on the Earth Lord. Di Xingxing Lord, you have shaped the glazed avatar with Bingxin glazed jade. This is your freedom, and I will not blame you for this. But you did not speak badly to me before, and you directly shot to kill me. How should this be counted? Jian Wushuang glanced coldly at the Lord of the Earth. The Lord of the Divine Stars looked bitter, and even said, the Lord of the Blood Sword, I didn't know before that you had broken through and become the Lord. If I knew you were the Lord, I would not dare offend. Fortunately I am the Master. If I were not the Master, wouldn't it have been insulted by you in vain, or even killed by you? Jian Wushuang said coldly. The Lord of the Blood Sword. Less nonsense, hand over 3 top-level and high-level magic soldiers, and stop here today otherwise. Even if your avatar Wu Qingjue has arrived, I have the confidence to kill you. Do you believe it? Jian Wushuang stared at the Lord of the Earth. To read this site, please use the latest domain name. Chapter 36-38. Second more. Letter Of course I believe. Di Xingxing has no doubt about Jian Wushuang's strength. Even though his avatar has arrived, and he has some cards in his hands, there are also 2 master-class powerhouses of Xian Shinto, and the Lord of Time and Space around Jian Wushuang. He is really not sure that he can retreat. Then he can only bow his head. The Lord of the Blood Sword, I used to speak well, and I should plead guilty to you. But aren't there too many of these 3 peaks? The Divine Star Lord bitterly said. Pinnacle Arcade is also extremely important to the Master. After all, many Masters do not have the strongest arbor, and they all use Pinnacle Arcade. And the 3 peak treasures proposed by Jian Wushuang, even though they are just ordinary attacks on the magic treasures, but the value is also extraordinary. For any elementary master, it is enough pain. How? Jian Wushuang sneered at the Lord of the Earth. Di Xingxing Lord, your mighty dominating powerhouse, the 3 top peaks are all worthless to you? What's more, your avatar Wu Qingjue has been in many dangerous places in the 3 battlefields these years. The chances of getting the precious treasures are not in the minority, right? Xian Shinto sneered beside. Okay, 3 peaks they'll give you. Di Xingxing sighed lightly. But I also have a condition, that is about my glazed avatar. I hope the 3 who are present today can keep it secret for me. After all, this glazed avatar is extremely important to me. Jian Wushuang glanced at Xian Shinto and nodded. Seeing the sword, Wushuang agreed. The Lord of the Earth Star immediately waved his hand and threw a Qianquan ring. 3 peaks and treasures are all within this ring. A sword-like sword, a sword, and finally a handle is a long stick. Lord of the Blood Sword, look at it. Jian Wushuang took the Qianquan ring, glanced at it, and nodded slightly. Earth Lord, see that you have a good faith. Let's stop here today. But you will still act a little better. Don't be too I think I'm right. Especially in the face of the practitioners of Her Majesty's palace. More or less I pay attention to my identity and politeness. Sure. The Lord of the Earth Star nodded again and smiled. Jian Wushuang glanced at the Xian Shinto man. And then the 2 turned and left. The Lord of Space and Time outside the Earth Holy Star also stopped the blockade of this space and time, And soon the three disappeared into the sight of the Earth Holy Star. After seeing Jian Wushuang's three people leaving completely, the Lord of the Earth Saints exhaled heavily. Ha! The glazed avatar of the divine star Lord Wu Qingzhu appears next to him. The Lord of the Blood Sword is so good. Wu Qing ruled. It is very powerful. Just breaking through the domination. The combat power far surpassed me, and even reached the level of higher domination. The most important thing is that he has another strongest precious sword in his hand, which is enough to give me great pressure. Earth Holy Road. If you are willing to show your last move, the Lord of the Blood Sword will not only fail you, but may even leave your life here. Wu Qing dominated. No. The Lord of the Earth Star waved without hesitation. My last move was obtained with great effort and hard work. Once I use it, there is no chance for a second show. This is my strongest. The whole card is also a last resort. Unless it's time for real life and death, it must not be played. Di Xingxing Lord, anyway, is also a long-established Lord-level powerhouse, and his luck has been good. First he got the special avatar, then he got the Ice Heart Glass Jade, and on other treasures and cards, I also got a chance once and got the strongest whole card. This strongest whole card is his biggest capital, but this whole card can only be cast once. After it is used, it is gone. That card is so important to me, and although the Lord of the Blood Swords has repeatedly persecuted me, it has finally not pushed me to the extreme, and has not forced me to desperately. It just made me pay the price of 3 peak treasures. 3 peaks of the highest treasure. Anyway, I do need it myself, just give it to him. The Lord of the Earth God thought very clearly. Unless Jian Wushuang is really determined to kill him, or the conditions proposed make him completely unacceptable. Otherwise, as long as it doesn't exceed his bottom line, he will promise Jian Wushuang. These 3 peaks are clearly not exceeding his bottom line. In the final analysis, it is still my own strength that is too weak. The key is that after so many years of struggle, there is not even a suitable strongest treasure. Otherwise, I will not be so embarrassed when facing the Lord of the Blood Sword. Holy Lord sighed. The strongest treasure, not easy to get it. Wu Qing dominated. I know, so you have to work harder to figure out a way. Di Xingxing said. I see. Wu Qing dominated the focus. The two of them. Obviously one is the deity and the other are separate, but they talk to each other as if they were 2 people. This is the peculiarity of the Earth's sacred master, getting the secret of the avatar. Obviously it is the avatar, but has its own independent consciousness. But it only acts in accordance with the will of the deity. As the 3 swordsmen left, the star of the place calmed down quickly. In the cosmic void, the 3 swordsmen, the mysterious god, and the master of space and time are running in parallel. Jian Wushuang's complexion is still a bit unsightly. After all, during this trip to the Earth Saint Star, the Bingxing glazed jade he wanted most was not obtained, and without Bingxing glazed jade, he could not shape the body of his glass for his wife, so that his wife could fully wake come. I did not expect that the Lord of the Stars had already formed a glazed avatar with Bingxing glazed jade. And let us run for nothing. Xian Shindao sighed there. It's not a white run after all. I also got 3 peak treasures. This is also true. Mysterious Shinto nodded slightly, but then looked at Chaos Ho Wushuang. Tian Ho Xiaoyu. Don't think too much about it. You do get this Ice Heart Glass Jade of the Lord of the Earth. But it does mean that you will be able to get Bingxing Glass Jade in the future. After all, in this territory where we are, there are too many opportunities in the 3 major battlefields. It is not guaranteed that when Bingxing Glass Jade will be born. Or is there another treasure that can be replaced? Well, I know. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly, and he didn't know too much. Mysterious Shinto people are right. Bingxing Liuyu will still have a chance to get it. What's more, he is not the only one who can make his wife awaken physically. This cold and snowy life is still good. As long as the coldness of snow is found, his wife's physical body has the same sense. End of this chapter. Please use the latest domain name to read this site. Chapter 36-39. The first is more. The strongest treasure has been obtained. As for the Bingxing glazed jade, I can only wait for another chance. Now it is also time for me to return to the early world. Jian Wushuangdou. After all, I am the owner of the Xingong Palace. I can't get out of the Xingong Palace, so let time and space accompany you back. Xian Shinto humane. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded. The three soon returned to the Xingong Palace. And after returning to the Xingong Palace, Jian Wushuang and the Lord of Time and Space Palace went to the early divine realm. Through the cosmic passage, after spending some time, Jian Wushuang and the Lord of Time and Space Palace have already reached the edge of the early world. Came back. Returning to the early divine realm, Jian Wushuang was also a little excited. After all, he had left the early divine realm for nearly 100,000 years. In the past 100,000 years, it is naturally nothing to the ancient existence of Xian Shinto, the master of space and time, but it is too long for Jian Wushuang. The first time I returned from the universe battlefield to the beginning of the divine realm, did I feel very different? A bit. Jian Wushuang nodded. It's normal. It took me a long time to go to the cosmic battlefield for the first time. And I also sighed when I came back. But I will get used to it when the number of times is too high. The sword is unparalleled. He also knows that in the early days of the divine realm, many rulers were violent in the cosmic battlefield, and it took them a long time to violently once 100,000 years, hundreds of thousands of years, are normal, especially are some strong, such as the mysterious Shinto, the master of time and space, and other dominated powers. They often stay in the universe for millions of years, tens of millions of years. They rarely return to the beginning of the weekday's spirit world. Even if I go back, the time spent in the divine realm was too short. After all, their strength has reached their level. And there is really nothing to stay in the world in the early days. So they will spend most of their time in the universe battlefield. Tianho Xiaoyu. Now you are back in the early world of God. Can you feel the oppression of the mighty power of the Tao that day? The Lord of Time and Space asked suddenly. Compression? Jian Wushuang looked, then shook his head. No. Then you try to run your divine power, said the Lord of Time and Space. Jian Wushuang, according to the Lord of Time and Space, said that the divine power was immediately activated, and even shot directly. Divine power comparable to the master can erupt directly from Jian Wushuang. I didn't feel any oppression, so I calculated that my hand was attacking, and the power was not weakened at all. Jian Wushuangdou. Sure enough, the Lord of Space and Time laughed. Just like Xian Yi at the beginning, although the combat power is comparable to the master, even more than the general master. But after all, it is only a master of rules, so in the early world of the, will not be suppressed by the might of the will of heaven. But we, the masters, are different. Jian Wushuang also immediately remembered that in the early world of the gods, the dominant power would be suppressed by the will of the heavenly will. The master that would be suppressed could not exert the normal master's combat power. What should be able to be played should be between the master and the ruler. Reluctance is slightly stronger than the main part of the sacred place with the power of heavenly will. Like the mysterious Shinto, the Lord of the Heavens, the Lord of Time and Space, and the heavenly ancestor. All of them will be greatly suppressed in the early world of God. There is also the Lord of the Meteorites who saw Jian Wushuang before. Because it is the outside world, it is more suppressed. But the sword is unparalleled. Although he has the level of dominance, he is ultimately only a ruler. Since he is the ruler, he will not be oppressed by the might of the will of heaven, even if he broke out. Stronger than the master, will not be subject to the slightest restriction. You have no restrictions on your strength in this pre-God world. That is to say, you are still the primary master, and even the higher master. Now you should be able to sweep alone the three sacred realms. Even if the three lords of the three sacred realms join forces to face you, there is only a rush to escape. The master of space and time laughed. It stands to reason. Jian Wushuang also smiled slightly. Once upon a time, he was extremely terrified and persecuted by the lords of the three great realms, and even died more than once in the hands of them. But now, after breaking through the universe battlefield and becoming the ruler, the situation has completely reversed. Now the Lord of the three great holy realms, he can no longer look at it. How, if not to destroy the three sacred realms now? The Lord of Time and Space laughed. No rush. Jian Wushuang waved his hand. Sooner or later these three sacred realms will be destroyed. But there is no need to be in a hurry. My most important thing now is to rush to the Seven Stars God realm and break the heavy seal to let Seven-Star Xuanzong fall asleep. Countless strong men there reappear. Of course, Jian Wushuang still has something to say. That is, he can also return to the Seven Stars God realm to see his many relatives and friends. By the way, time and space, after all, you are the master of time and space. Should you know what happened in the early world of God in the past 100,000 years? Jian Wushuang asked. No. The Lord of Space and Time nodded. In the past 100,000 years, two major events have happened in the early world of God. The first one is the rise of Zixumen. Zxiamen. Jian Wushuang looked. Zixumen is the main gate of Xinhua Demon Lord. The original Zixumen has been destroyed, but after the return of Xinhua Demon Lord, there is him who is the most powerful of the six realms. The rise of Zixumen is naturally logical. Because of your friend Shenhuazhu who is here, the prestige and strength of the divine realm in the early days have been better than ever. In less than 100,000 years, it has become a leap. The top forces against Bafang Tianzong. And in terms of top strength, those who are stronger than Bafang Tianzong are far less than your friends. But the background of Zixumen is compared with Bafang Tianzong. It's still a little worse. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly and said, what about the second thing? The second thing that happened in the demon realm was the Nine-Tailed Clan, who had a relationship with you, and the Nine-Tailed Clan leader, who had a great relationship with you. Her charm method is extremely terrible. The six realms are below the limit, almost unstoppable. She relies on this secret technique to continuously nibble all the ethnic groups of the demon realm, control many powerful people, and madly enhance her own strength. Until now, these nine-tailed families have been the strongest in the demon domain, and the overall strength is so strong that the other three peak groups can only barely compete if they are united. Please use the latest domain name for reading on this site. Chapter 3640. Second more. During this time, the Jiawei clan has already confronted the three top peak groups. It seems that Miss Shower has a big breath to swallow up all three top peak groups, unifying the posture of the demon realm. The main hall of time and space. Unify the demon domain? Jian Wushuang frowned. Is this Lady Xiao's ambition big enough? Of course, Jian Wushuang just secretly admired, but did not intend to intervene. After all, his position is completely different from before. Just like the Xian Shinto people, the Lord of Time and Space, the Lord of Heaven and Earth, and the Heavenly Ancestor, they have reached an extremely transcendent position, reaching such a level that they have long been uninterested in competing for various interests in the early God world. Of course, what they really care about is the overall stability of the divine world in the early days. As long as the divine realm can evolve normally in the early days, they will not care if the internal forces fight and become a mess. Time and space, take me to see the Lord of the Heavens. Jian Wushuangdo. Okay. The Lord of Time and Space nodded, only to see his sleeve robe wave. The force of time and space swept the sword Wushuang, and the two of them flickered and disappeared. As soon as Jian Wushuang and the Lord of Time and Space returned to the early divine realm, the heavenly willpower of the early divine realm was immediately sensed, and the three lords of the Holy Land were directly informed of this information. One of the three sanctuaries, within the sanctuary of life and death. The magnificent palace is magnificent. At the top of the palace, there are three parallel thrones. These three thrones are usually seated by the three holy masters. But at this moment, the other three are sitting on the three thrones. As for the three, the Lord of the Sacred Realm, however, was extremely respectful, standing below the hall. Sitting on the upper throne, of course, the three masters arrived from the Demon Star. These three masters have stayed in the Holy Island before, but now they have come to the early gods. Honestly, I really don't want to come to this early world, a third-level astral world. Tiandao willpower is too restrictive for us. Here, we can't exert the strongest strength at all. Among the three masters, the tall man said, that is, if it is in our magic cloud star, the second-level star, we will not be subject to any restrictions at all. The evil young man also lipped. Let's bear it, after all. It is the order of the Lord. The boy brown-haired old man finally persuaded. In the vast universe, the third-order boundary star, because it is the lowest-level boundary star, will naturally have a smaller range of power, because the laws of heaven and earth have imposed great restrictions on the tertiary stars. Any combat power above the dominance level will be suppressed by the terrific power in the tertiary stars, and it is impossible to exert the dominance level. However, because the second-level boundary star has a higher level, it can bear more categories of power. The power of the dominant level will not affect the second-order boundary star too much. Therefore, in the second-level boundary star, the dominator can play unbridled strength. The three masters in front of me, since they came to the Tai Chi God realm, will naturally be oppressed by the heavenly will of the Tai Chi God realm. The Tao of the Tao that day was dominated by the Lord of the Clouds, but the law of the universe in the meditation, even if the Lord of the Clouds can't violate it. That sword is unparalleled, back to the beginning of the world. The tall man looked down. Yes, not only that. Among the wills conveyed by the master, it is also said that the sword Wuxia has broken through and reached the ruler. As for the combat power, I am afraid that it can already rival the master. One of the three sacred masters, the Lord of Life and Death, said, the ruler can rival the master? This is the perfect chaotic creature. It is no wonder that the Lord will have a little fear of him. The tall man sighed. Since the sword Wuxuang's current combat power can rival the master, and in this early world, because he is only the relationship between the ruler and the power, there will not be any suppression. That is to say, in this early world one-on-one, he can easily defeat any of the three of us. Even if the three of us join forces, it is estimated that he will be able to compete with him directly. That's right. Even if we have the treasure in our hands, but the three of us alone, if we want to kill him in the early world of God, that is simply impossible. Tong Yinha, said the old man. That being the case, what does the Lord Master want me three to come to this world of God? Said the tall man Shen. If I'm not mistaken, the Lord ordered this. It should be that the three of me can do my best to keep these three sanctuaries. The old man Tong Yin Huffa looked down at the three lords of the Holy Land below. Protect these three wastes. The tall man glanced at the three lords of the Holy Land below, but there was a scorn in his mouth. He could see at a glance that the three sacred masters in front of his eyes were actually the real strength of the six realms. The master of the rule of the six realms is too much in the universe battlefield. In their eyes, it is more like an ant, but because of the blessing of the will of the heavens, these three talents can play more than the ultimate of the six realms, the strength of the Lord of the sacred realm. Of course, these three men of the holy realm, did not pay much attention to the tall man. The three sacred masters at the bottom know their own weight, and have already bowed their heads after hearing the discussions of the three above, and dare not say a word. The old man Tong Yinha smiled and said, although the three themselves are not very good, they are slaves of the Lord. After all, the Lord found three people in this early God world who could perfectly accept the blessing of heavenly will. The peak of the six realms is indeed not easy. The most important thing is that these three sacred realms existed for the Lord to maintain the order of the early gods. If it was destroyed in the sword without hands, it would be extremely troublesome to recreate it in the future. So if it can be kept, it's better, naturally. Huh. The tall man snorted coldly and said lowly, the three of you from now on, pay close attention to the sword unparalleled, with a slight wind blowing, and immediately report to this seat. Yes, three lords of the Holy Land, take command. Okay, get out. The tall man waved. The three lords of the Holy Realm immediately left in fear, and they had long lost their former heights. After the three lords of the Holy Land left. By the way, isn't Xingluo's woman in this territory? Why didn't she find her? Her strength is much better than the three of us. If she helps, we will be easier to deal with that sword, said the tall man. Xingluo, Tong Yanhe made the old man shake his head. Although she is a demon star, she has always been lonely. She has been training her disciples all these years. Even if I pass her on, she will ignore it at all. I am afraid she will not bother to care about us unless the Lord orders it in person. That woman. The tall man could only hate it. To read this site, please use the latest domain name. Chapter 3641. The first is more. After returning to the early divine realm, Jian Wushuang did not startle too many people, but went directly to the blockade of the 7-star divine realm, directly under the leadership of the Lord of Time and Space. With the time and space of the Lord of Time and Space, Jian Wushuang came to a hidden special space. This special space is barren, and there is no life. And the only thing that is there is a special law array located at the center of this special time and space. Jian Wushuang and the Lord of Time and Space Palace came before this heavy circle. This is the space channel? Jian Wushuang surprised. It is a space passage, but this space passage only leads to one place. And in order to open this passage, we must first control the power of the hierarchy. And I was in this early world of God. Although oppressed by the will of that day, he is a master, so he can barely open this space channel. Where does this space passage lead? 7 stars God realm? Jian Wushuang asked. When you get there, you will know. The Lord of Space and Time smiled and started to open the space channel. With the integration of the divine power of the Lord of Time and Space, the space channel in front of it quickly turned into operation, and I saw a complex and mysterious pattern rising, and a strong power spread from this space channel. This space channel seems extremely extraordinary. Jian Wushuang frowned. Let's go in, said the Lord of Time and Space, and then stepped into the space channel with Jian Wushuang. The light flashed, and when Jian Wushuang appeared again, he found that he had reached a vast land. This land is boundless, but what makes the sword unsurprising is that this land has long lost its vitality and is full of lifelessness. Where is this? Jian Wushuang wondered. Here is the 4th heaven of the early world. 4th heaven? Jian Wushuang stunned and looked at the Lord of Time and Space. That's right, the core of the early divine realm is the triple sky. The triple sky is stronger than the heavy one. Especially in the 3rd heaven, the cultivation environment is far better than other places. At the core, the strongest hegemons in the pre-God world, such as the 3 sacred realms, the 4 protoss, and the octagonal celestial sect, all have their nests in the triple heaven. But a long time ago, when the 7-star Emperor Xuanzong was not overthrown, there was a full quadruple heaven at the core of the early divine realm. At that time, the 4th heaven was the core of the early divine realm and the best place for cultivation. Simply talking about the conditions of cultivation, the 4th sky of the day was several times stronger than the 3rd sky of the present day. In the original 4th heaven, there was only one power, that is, 7-star Xuanzong. At that time, the 7-star Xuanzong was the sole hegemon in the 4th heaven, and it also represented its supreme power in the early world of God. Power is far from being comparable to the 3 sacred realms now. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang couldn't help showing the shock. At the time, the 4th day heaven, where the cultivation conditions were several times better than the current triple sky, was completely occupied by the 7-star Emperor Xuanzong. It is conceivable how powerful and formidable the original 7-star Xuanzong strength was. After a pause, the Lord of Time and Space continued. However, since the outbreak of the war, the 7-star Xuanzong has been destroyed. After the entire 7-star God realm has been sealed, the formation of the reseal not only absorbed the vitality of countless practitioners. At the same time, almost the entire vitality of the 4th heaven has been absorbed, coupled with the endless years of operation of the seal. It is still devouring the vitality of the 4th heaven madly, which also leads to this 4th god. It's completely deserted. Jian Wushuang felt a shock in his heart. Once the core of the divine realm in the early days, and the best sacred place for cultivation, but now it has become such a deadly look in front of it, which makes Jian Wushuang secretly sigh. After the 4th heaven is completely desolate, Practitioners can hardly sense the existence of the heaven and earth aura here, and naturally cannot practice. So many practitioners in the fourth heaven have left here. After all, no one would be willing to stay in a place where even the aura can't sense it. Because of this fourth-day heaven also slowly withdrew from the public's vision, until later it was even forgotten. Until now, most practitioners of the divine realm only knew the triple heaven, but never knew the early divine realm. In fact, there is another fourth day. However, although the fourth day is abandoned, the seal will still be there, and the seven-star divine realm will still be in the seal, so others will forget it, but we will not. And because the aura has completely dried up, the original many of the space channels existing in Sazhongshan have lost their effect. No one can come here again through the space channel. Simply me, Xianshan, Chotian, and Tianzu. The four of us will join forces to bring the fourth heaven and Taichu God together. The connections of the world have been erased. This also leads to the fact that in the early days of the divine realm, there was only the only space passageway we were riding on, which could lead to the fourth heaven. Others wanted to come to this fourth heaven by normal means. Possible. Only this space channel can we come to this fourth heaven. Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. Obviously, the Lord of Time and Space has protected the only channel leading to the fourth sky extremely tightly, and the space channel of value must be dominated to be able to start naturally this long time, except for time apart from the palace master. No one can come to this fourth heaven. No. Jian Wushuang frowned suddenly. If no one can come to the fourth day, and no one can touch the sealed seven-star realm, then how did the Lord of the three holy realms open up? The one who reseals the seven stars? In the last life, in the last battle, the lords of the three great holy realms all came. If the three lords of the holy realm can't come to the fourth heaven, and can't touch the seal of the seven stars God realm, then it is impossible for them to come. I just said that it is impossible to reach this fourth heaven through normal channels, but the three holy lords are different. After all, the three holy lords are blessed by the will of heaven. They are guided by the Tao of heaven. Even if they do not pass through the space channel, they can still find a way to the fourth heaven, and they will naturally be able to contact the seven-star gods. That's it. The sword was unparalleled. After all, the fourth heaven is in the early heavenly world. As the heavenly will of the early heavenly world, it is not difficult for the three sacred masters to reach the fourth heaven. Chapter 3642. Second more. By the way, in time and space, hasn't the Celestial Alliance leader been guarding around the heavy seal all the time? That should be in the fourth heavy heaven. Why didn't you see him? Jian Wushuang asked. Don't worry, I have summoned him to come over. The master of space and time smiled. As soon as the words fell, Jian Wushuang saw the end of the barren void in front of him, and a figure appeared. This figure stepped out step by step. The speed was incredible, and it appeared in front of Jian Wushuang in a blink of an eye. The comer was a burly man of 2 meters in height. He wore scarlet battle armor, dark skin and narrow eyes. A pair of gem-like pupils swept straight away, and his eyes swept away enough to make the world and the world eclipse. And above all, you are the domineering man in this burly man. This domineering incomparable, as if the entire sky was trampled under his feet. Come, it is the Lord of the Heavens. At the beginning, Jian Wushuang used bamboo leaves to summon the conscious avatar of the Lord of the Sky, and that conscious avatar, apart from its powerful strength, has the deepest influence on him. That is the domineering body. That domineering is really convincing. The domineering consciousness is so arrogant, and now seeing the deity of the Lord of the Sky, the natural domineering swept away. Even the current sword Wushuang couldn't help secretly. He is very clear that being able to possess such powerful domineering is related to his own overwhelming strength, in addition to the secrets of cultivation. The Lord of the Sky, but the most powerful of the Star Palace, has reached a higher level of a long time ago. As of now, the strength is definitely stronger. Haha, Jian Tianho, you are finally here. The domineering laughter of the Lord of the Heavens resounded between heaven and earth, his eyes burning, and he looked at Jian Wushuang. I've seen the Lord of the Heavens. Jian Wushuang was slightly saluting. Haha, you're welcome. Xianshan has already circulated to me before, saying that your current strength is already barely equal to that of the higher master. This strength is not much weaker than me. It is just that I stay in this ghost place. It's too boring. Now that you are here, come and fight with me. The voice of the Lord of the Heavens is strong, and at the same time the voice falls, a majestic divine power has risen. Jian Wushuang stunned. At this time, the Lord of Space and Time smiled and said, "Cut the sky. Xiaohou Xiaoyu came here to seal the 7-star realm, not specifically to fight against you, let alone this 4th-day sky is still there. In the beginning of the divine realm, you were equally oppressed by the will of the heavens here. I am afraid that the strength you can exert is not much better than mine. However, because Xiaohou Yuyu is only the ruler of the rule, the strength is not subject to any restrictions. You're playing against him here. Isn't that just asking for trouble?" Yeah. The leader of the Celestial Alliance nodded again and again. "I almost gave it to him. He is the same as Xianyi. He is the perfect life. The ruler can have the dominance and has strength in the astral realm. There will be no restrictions. It is really too bad for me to play against him here. Jian Tianhou, when you get to the battlefield of the universe, you and I will fight again." "Sure." Jian Wushuang nodded with a smile. After a brief conversation, he can see that although the leader of the Skycut Alliance is extremely powerful and domineering, he is very carefree and eclectic. Such a person, regardless of his identity, is the Sword. Very happy to make friends. "Okay, Cut Sky, take us to the place where the reseal is located." "The Spacetime Hall Main Road." "Well, follow me." The Lord of the Sky Slayer immediately led the way, and the Lord of the Sword and Space Palace immediately followed. The three were rushing through, traversing an extremely long distance, but still spent more than half of their time in space before they reached the core area of this 4th heavy sky. And here is a huge and imposing circular matrix that covers a long and distant territory. Is this where the heavy seal is? Jian Wushuang looked at the heavy circle in front of him with a shock. That law formation is really too big. Even if it is based on his strength, it cannot detect the marginal existence of this law formation. At the same time, Jian Wushuang can sense that this heavy law formation is running at an extremely slow speed, and during the operation, this law formation is still swallowing and squeezing the vitality of this 4th heaven. Almost all of the vitality of this 4th day has been completely swallowed up and squeezed out. But this magic array is still swallowed up? Jian Wushuang frowned. No way. After all, this magic circle can only be maintained if it is always in operation. As for the energy required to operate the magic circle, it is the reason why the sky has been here for so long. Tao. Although the vitality of this 4th day is running out, and it is difficult to supply the magic circle for operation, there are still some remaining. Zhantian has to do here to keep an eye on the vitality of this 4th heaven, and not to let the vitality of this 4th heaven be completely cut off. After all, the vitality of this 4th heaven is completely cut off. Chongtian will crash directly, but as long as it has the slightest vitality, as long as it does not crash, it will have a certain recovery ability. And Zhitian will replace the 4th heavy sky at that time to supply a lot of energy to the heavy law formation. And all of this energy depends on geniuses and treasures. In these years, only for the supply the operation of this law formation has paid innumerable costs for the Shinggong Palace, the Celestial Alliance, the Lord of Time and Space, and the Heavenly Ancestral Dojo. Jian Wushuang secretly marveled. He also knew how much energy it would take to maintain such a large one-size circle. Obviously, it would not be possible to sustain the 4th day vitality alone. And the reason that the circle could always exist up to now, it is natural that they have contributed a lot. Before there was no way. This magic circle had to be running all the time. Once stopped, the reseal would always exist, and it would never be broken. The 7-star divine realm in the seal, and the countless strong men left by the original 7-star Xuanzong. I will never have a chance to see the sun again. But now that you are here, all this will be easy to do. The Lord of the Cut Heavens chuckled. Xuani said at the time of the reseal, as long as you reach the main level of the rule, you can open the reseal, and let the 7-star God realm see the sun again. Now you try it. Chapter 3643. One more today. Jian Wushuang did not delay any more, and swept directly towards the heavy law formation. How to crack this resealed law formation? Looking at the huge and imposing seal array in front of him, Jian Wushuang felt a headache. Although his master left a word, as long as he breaks through to reach the ruler, he can crack the seal array, but he did not know the process and steps of cracking. We don't know the specific cracking process. You can try to communicate with this reseal group first. Jian Wushuang nodded his head. Even when his eyes were closed, his consciousness had covered the past with the huge seal formation facing forward. The consciousness was covered by the seal formation, and Jian Wushuang immediately connected with the heavy seal formation, and at the same time, the lingering soul that had been silent in the seal gradually woke up. Little guy, you're finally here. A soft voice sounded. Hearing this voice, Jian Wu's stature was shocked. He was too familiar with this voice. Master, is it you? Jian Wushuang's voice was a little trembling. It's me. A gentle voice sounded again, while a hazy figure slowly condensed in the seal formation. He has a tall figure, a gentle face, and a very close feeling. The slight smile on his face makes him feel warmer. Familiar face, familiar smile, and familiar feeling. It is clear that the figure who appeared in the seal formation at this moment is his master, Xuani. It's just that his master has fallen, and now he is here. It is just a ray of remnant left in the reseal circle. This ray of remnant is still very weak, and he has been sleeping for many years. It is also the scent of the sword unparalleled, that this remnant soul will be awakened. And the awakened remnant can only be sensed by Jian Wushuang at this moment. As for the next few lords who cut the sky, he can't sense his existence. Little fellow, how many years have you been born again? Xuani asked. His remnant has been asleep, but he hasn't known how long he has been asleep. Back to master, it has been 100,000 years. Jian Wushuang replied respectfully. 100,000 years. It's going to be a bit late than expected, but it's okay. You can break through and become the ruler. And before you come to the fourth seal of heaven, this reseal of the magic circle, you will take this remnant of my soul awakening. This shows that my original plan should be carried out relatively smoothly. Xiani together. Yes, although I encountered some trouble halfway through. The disciples were hunted down by the three sacred realms more than once, and they survived, but fortunately no luck, and finally took the risk. Jian Wushuangdo said, if you can come here, then it means that you have shown that you have been in direct contact with Xian Shen, right? Xiani continued to ask. Not only are my predecessors, but also the Lord of the Sky, the Master of Space and Time, and the Ancestor of Heaven. I have already contacted them, and thanks to the help of these four predecessors over the years, I can go to today. Sword Wushuangdo, your mission as well as the ultimate secrets of the realm, have they told you? Xiani said. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. That being the case, then you should also know what you should do. Xiani smiled, and then said, the last question, what is your strength now? Master, it's not long before I broke through the rules, but because of the disciples' chances these years, I can barely match the higher masters, and with the help of mysterious seniors, I got one of the strongest treasure soldiers. Now I will definitely not be lower than the high master. If it is really hard, even if you encounter some extremely terrible existence of the high master, there is no fear at all, and only the difference is estimated to be the performance of the skycut technique, with some restrictions. Jian Wushuangdo. Before, Jian Wushuang's strength was more or less concealed. Even if the three gods, the Master of Space and Time, and the Ancestor of the Sky asked them, Jian Wushuang is only able to rival the Master, but the specific level of combat power is not too clear. However, now he is facing the most respected and most grateful Master Xuani in his life, but he has no concealment, and can reveal all his whole cards and strength. This is his absolute trust and conviction in his master. Yes, you can match the higher masters just after you break through. This is a robber than when you were a teacher. Xiani laughed. As for the skyscraping, this mystery is very strange. I was able to create it at the same time. The chance plus luck is indeed good enough, but this secret technique is really big enough to consume the divine power. Fortunately, our perfect life is full of divine power. If we change to another person, even if we are the master, I am afraid that it will not be able to perform a few times such a secret technique. This mystery is suitable for your current use. It will improve your strength. As for whether you want to perform this mystery in the future, it depends on you. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Well, after asking you so many questions, in fact, as a teacher, I just want to know your situation over the years. Now it looks good. Xianyi smiled and continued. You are here to reseal the law formation now. Come up. Do you want to crack this seal? Yes, master. But I don't know how I can break this seal array? Jian Wushuang asked. Cracking the magic array? Xianyi looked, but followed with a smile. It is not difficult for you to crack this magic array, but it is not easy to say. Huh? Jian Wushuang appeared in doubt. Boy, let me tell you the truth. The reason why this resealed law circle has always existed is not only to completely protect the sleeping strong man in the 7 stars god realm, but to give Qi Xing Xuanzong a chance to rise again. Important purpose. Xianyi together. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was even more puzzled. Little guy, mysterious god, they should have told you that as a teacher who broke through the rules of the rule, he immediately tried to seize the power of the will of the early gods. But unfortunately I tried countless times, but I still failed. End. Xianyi together. My predecessor told me about this. He said that you had tried millions of times and all failed, and finally came to the conclusion that if you want to regain the power of the will of the early gods, you must have perfect life. The breakthrough reached the level of domination. Sword Wu Shuangdo. It's so, but it's not just that. Xianyi's expression became dignified. Sorry again. Hope everyone can understand. End of this chapter. Chapter 3644. The first is more. When I broke through and became the ruler of the rule, I went directly to try to regain the primordial realm. As a result, after millions of attempts, although I failed, I felt that I had the opportunity to bring the primordial realm back. It was only because I was not strong enough to retake the house. So at the time I thought that as long as I broke through and reached the domination, I would be able to retake this pre-god world as a matter of course. But soon after, as my strength improved and my horizons became higher and higher, I understood that if you want to regain the house of the early gods, I'm afraid it's not just that I want to break through and become the master. Xianyi Dong, don't you just break through the master? Jian Wushuang frowned. If you want to break through the alone, this condition is already extremely harsh and difficult, and now the sword has no distance to dominate the power. He didn't want to, and the conditions needed to regain the princely kingdom of God were not just that. Just breaking through the dominator, although my strength will be greatly improved. The most important thing is that the soul will also follow suit. It will be of great help when taking over the world. But now the world is not the stage of weakness, has already evolved into a long-term period. And before the beginning of the divine realm was taken away once, now the power of the heavenly will of the first realm of the divine realm is dominated by the demon star master. The heavenly will dominated by the Lord of the Clouds is completely different from the heavenly will of the normal astral world. The heavenly will of the normal astral world has no emotions and no thoughts. It only knows that it operates in accordance with the laws of the universe. Even if it is suddenly lost, its resistance is also limited. But the Lord of the Clouds is a human practitioner, and he is an extremely terrifying dominating power. If he is defeated, he will definitely fight desperately. If at the last moment, he is more likely to make some crazy behaviors, such as direct self-destruction, completely destroyed the heavenly will of the early gods, and then without the restraint of the will of the heavenly gods, the early gods would also collapse without the rule of law. Or, he directly controlled Tiandao will to destroy the early world. These are the consequences that we cannot accept. Hearing here, Jian Wushuang's look also became extremely dignified. Indeed, Jane Lord of the Demon Cloud is not a practitioner in the early divine realm at all. He went away from the early divine realm, only for his own cultivation, and to help himself improve his strength. As for the early divine realm, he did not care. Under normal circumstances, he will certainly not destroy the will of the heavenly will, or control the will of the heavens to destroy the early divine realm. At most, it will only forcibly accelerate the evolution of the early divine realm, so that he will get greater benefits in a short time. But if it is abnormal, that is, Jian Wushuang can already pose a huge threat to it, and he can regain the Prince of the Gods. When he can't stop it, he really can't say, will he make some crazy move? After all, once he can't stop Jian Wushuang, and let Jian Wushuang retake the Taiji divine realm, then this Taiji divine realm has nothing to do with him at all. Since he can't get it himself, he is likely to make it impossible for others. Because of this, I will have some concerns. I am afraid that even if you break through and reach the dominance, you will not be able to successfully recapture the original divine realm. Therefore, I deliberately left this resealed law circle to completely complete the 7-star god realm. The seal is inside. Xianyi said, Master, is there anything strange about this resealed law formation? Jian Wushuang asked in confusion. Of course there is. Xianyi smiled. This reseal method was originally a great opportunity that I got at first. Its role is very strange. Not only does it completely seal the 7-star god realm inside, the most important thing is the seal method. In the course of long years of operation, it will gradually evolve. Yin. Jian Wushuang stunned. From the original seal formation, gradually evolved into a complete world, and will even gradually give birth to the willpower that can dominate this world. Xuanyi mysteriously said, What? Jian Wushuang was startled. Complete heaven and earth? Can you even give birth to the willpower that dominates this heaven and earth? Isn't it the same as the normal astral world? Yes, when this seal array runs to the end, it is equivalent to forming a small astral world. Xianyi smiled. This small astral world will also have an autonomous operating principle that will dominate the will of this world. It is also equivalent to the power of the heavenly will in the beginning of the world. To put it plainly, it is an astral world, but it is much smaller than a normal third-level astral space. But the basic operating rules include the heavenly will and power. Yes, but still. Of course, in many respects, this small astral space is inferior to the astral space naturally bred by the cosmic circle. For example, in the growth space, the normal third-level astral space, countless practitioners can conceive countless undead saints a lot of rules. The masters, including a few powerful men who dominate the ranks, but the small astral circle formed by the evolution of the seal circle cannot even give birth to undead saints. You should have a deep understanding of this. Wu Jianso nodded slightly. He came out of the sealed formation, and it is very clear what the limits of the practitioner's growth world are. In that seal formation, aside from those who were left from the 7-star divine realm and the 7-star emperor Xuanzong, the strongest among the strong natural born in the heaven and earth seems to be the level of chaos only, and in the normal astral world chaos, there is no difference with the ants. Although there is little room for growth in this small astral world, don't expect any strong people to be born inside. But one thing is that it has a normal heavenly cycle, which is not much different from the normal heavenly circle of heaven. If you can master this small astral realm and fully understand the laws of the heavens, then it will be of great help to you regaining the early divine realm. Xuanyi said. Jian Wushuang knows inside. If according to his master, this small astral world will not be much different from the rule of the heavens in the early days, then if he masters the small astral world, he will fully understand the operation of the heavens in the early days. In the process of the law, he will regain his house in the future, and the process of regaining his house will certainly be much easier. I said before that the heavenly will of the gods in the early days is now dominated by the Lord of the Clouds. He knows how to resist, he is desperate, and may even make crazy moves. But if you have broken through the master, and he fully understands the principles of the operation of the heavenly path, then you can easily regain the Prince of the Gods in the early stage without giving him any chance to fight back. Chapter 3645. Second more. So it is. Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. Mastering this small astral world will not only make it easier for you to regain the primordial world in the future. In addition, this small astral world, after all, has a complete law of the heavenly cycle. As long as you master it, it will be important for your cultivation. It will also be of great benefit. At least it will definitely help you to break through the master. Xianidao said. Wu Jian's heart moved. Yes, the Lord of the Devil Clouds was originally just an ordinary master. And it was not even the kind that could be confused on the Devil's Star. But it was because of his coincidence that he lost the pre-God world, and his strength would be huge. Ascension, he became the overlord of Demon Star. It can be said that after the Demon King conquered the divine realm in the beginning, the benefits he received were too great. And the small astral circle evolved by the seal method, the benefits that can be obtained after mastering it, although it is far from being able to compare with a normal astral circle, but there are many benefits, and Jian Wushuang is only a rule now. The master is extremely far away from the master. If he masters such a small astral world at this time, he will definitely get a lot of benefits. However, master, how can I master this small astral world? Jian Wushuang asked. The only way you want to master this small astral world is to thoroughly refine it. Xuani said. Refining? Jian Wushuang stunned for a while. Can you refine this small astral world like refining? But how can this be done? Wu Jian Wushuang also has self-knowledge. Although this is just a small astral space in front of it, it is once a 7-star realm. The territory is also extremely vast. In addition, a complete heavenly cycle has been formed. How can such a small astral world be refined? Changed? Rest assured, although this small astral world is extremely difficult to refine, after all, it was created for me. When I recreated it, I have already left some means. As long as it is the perfect life at the main level of the rule, it can be refined, of course. The process of refining is certainly not easy. Xiani smiled. Master, what should I do? Jian Wushuang respectfully said. You can leave here now to find a secret world where there is no master. First try to refine that secret world. Xiani said. The secret world of heaven and earth? Jian Wushuang stunned. Every ruler will open up his own secret world. But there are two ways to open up. One is to spend a lot of time and energy on the basis of the circle of heaven and earth, plus a lot of treasures, to open up for the complete world. This way belongs to the real creation of a secret world by its own strength. This secret world is the most complete, and the greatest help to the ruler's strength. Under normal circumstances, after a ruler has opened up a complete secret world by his own means, the ruler will have an extra willpower. The second way to open up can be said to be a shortcut. You don't need to spend too much time and energy. Just go directly to a world that has no owner, or is broken, and no one wants it. The mystery is refining and becoming its own. But the heaven and earth mystery refined in this way, because it was not created from the beginning. So even if it is finally refined, it will also have a willpower. But the ruler cannot really. This willpower is fully exerted, and most of the time, only the effect of this willpower can be achieved. Because of this, in the early days of the divine realm, only a few rulers who were troublesome, or had no ambitions would directly find a helpless heaven and earth mystery to refine. Most rulers would still choose test your own ability to really open up a secret world. But for you, there is no need to spend so much time and energy to open up a secret world. Xianigong said this. Why? Jian Wushuang asked. Isn't he saying that only if he really set out to open up the secret world of heaven and earth, can he exert his strongest willpower? It's very simple. First of all, you have to open up the secret world by yourself. It's really too much time and energy, and you are the only hope of the gods in the beginning. So you have to fight for a few minutes, and increase your strength as quickly as possible. It takes so long and energy like this, to just have a little more willpower. It's not necessary at all. In addition, the most important thing is that there is this small astral space prepared for you by the division. Where do you need to open up the secret world of yourself? Even if you really open up, will the power of will that you get will be better than this? Does the small astral circle give you the power of will? Yanizhang smiled. Master, do you mean to ask me to refine this small astral world into my own secret world? Jian Wushuang widened his eyes. Yes, the secret world of heaven and earth is originally a heaven and earth. And this small astral world is also a heaven and earth. Refine this small astral world into your secret world, why not? Xianyi laughed. But this is too exaggerated. Jian Wushuang said in surprise. I exaggerate in his opinion, this is indeed too exaggerated. Before Xianyi said that he wanted to refine the small astral world in front of him, he felt a little incredible. The true meaning of Xianyi turned out to be that he wanted to refine this small astral world as a secret world into the heaven and earth. Secret territory belongs to one's own heaven and earth. The of this heaven and earth secret territory can determine how much willpower and power can be improved. And if there is such a huge small astral realm, if he really refines it into his own secret world, how much will he get? How strong can he improve? Thinking about it, they all felt incredible. And such an incredible thing can really be achieved? Little guy, I have specially arranged this reseal matrix to make it become a small astral world, just to make you refining into the secret world of heaven and earth. This is also the last surprise for the teacher. As for this refining process, there is no doubt that you just follow the instructions of the teacher and ensure that you can refine this small astral world into your secret world. Xianyi smiled. Wu Jianshou took a deep breath and suppressed his inner excitement, even respectfully saluting. Please also teach me the master. I have taught you again as a teacher. You first find a world without a master to refine it. After refining and accumulating experience, you will directly destroy this world. Tomorrow there will be 3 changes to make up the chapter owed yesterday. Chapter 3646. The first is more. Under normal circumstances, the secret world of heaven and earth is destroyed, and the empowered willpower will also completely collapse. This is bound to be an unprecedented hit for the ruler of the general rules. But for you as a perfect life, it is nothing but it's innocuous. But you've gained the experience of refining the secret world. And then you come here again, refining this small astral world, and doing more with less. Xuanyi said. I see. In this case, I will first refine a heaven and earth, and then come here. Jian Wushuangdo. Go. Xianyi waved his hand. Wu Jianshou gave a respectful gift, and his consciousness returned to the body. Beyond the huge seal formation, Jian Wushuang's eyes reopened. Heavenly friend, how about? Can you crack the seal? The Lord of Time and Space looked at it quickly. Yes, but some steps are needed. Jian Wushuang recounted in detail the Xianyi's remnant soul that he saw in the seal circle, and the conversation between the two. After listening to it, the Lord of the Celestial Alliance and the Lord of Space and Time both showed shock. No wonder that before Xian died, we were told in 1,000 ways that we must find a way to maintain the operation of this resealed law formation. It turned out to be this way. The purpose of this resealed law formation is not only to protect the strong left by the 7-star Xuanzong at the same time, it is also to enable you to better sacrifice the early world of God. The Lord of Time and Space sighed secretly. Jian Tianhou, are you looking for a masterless heaven and earth to refine? Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. It's easy. Although the secret realm of the heaven and earth is difficult to find under normal circumstances. But if you need it, we can easily find a master who opened the rules of the realm of heaven and earth, kill him, and then forcibly it. His heaven and earth is the secret. No need. Jian Wushuang waved his hand. I just know where there is a masterless, suitable for my refining heaven and earth. And I have promised that the master of that secret world will do something for him. Although I have already done all these things. But I have never returned to give him a reply. This time I just go there. Wu Jian Wushuang said. Naturally is the Blood North mystery. At the time, he had a good chance in the Blood North secret. And he did promise that Blood North would go to the blood ancestor of Tianzu Daojin to complete some things. And he had already done it. After explaining that, if he wants to reach the ruler of the rule, he can go back there and refine the Blood North mystery. Jian Wushuang has now become the master of the rules, and the power is comparable to the master. At this level, the Blood North secret has not attracted him for a long time, but now that he needs to refine a heaven and earth secret to accumulate experience, the Blood North secret naturally became his first choice. I happen to be, he can go back and give Shuebei a reply. Blood North mystery. In the Endless Territory. Since I want to go to the Endless Territory, I simply go to Mia Heaven first, and connect my father and mother together. Jian Wushuang secretly said. His parents, Zhuo Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin, originally came from the Endless Territory. Before they were forced to come to Mietian for their own sake. It has been more than 100,000 years so far. Zhuo Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin certainly wanted to go back to the Endless Territory, and their hometown went to see it. Heavenly friend, now that you have a world that can be refined, let's go. With your current strength, you can do whatever you want in this world of gods in the early days. And I don't need to tell you anything more. The Lord of Space and Time laughed. Wu Jianzhou nodded slightly, and soon he left the fourth heaven, and then headed for the third heaven. In the early days of the Divine Realm, every move of Jian Wushuang was followed by Tiandao Will. When Jian Wushuang reached the third heaven, Tiandao Will immediately informed the three sacred places. The Lord, the three lords of the Holy Realm, are suddenly close to the enemy. Three lords, that sword Tianhou has now come to the third heaven. He is likely to come directly to our three sacred realms. The three lords of the sanctuary stood there respectfully. All three were a look of anxiety. What are you three worried about? The three masters sitting high above, the tall man's cold eyes overlooked. The sword is heavenly, even if the strength is not limited in the early world of God. It is just one person, and the combat power is at best it is comparable to the ordinary primary master. With such a combat power, even if the strength of the three of us is greatly limited, as long as they join forces, they can still suppress him. That's right. If the sword is alone, there is no need to worry. If he comes here, I will join forces with him. He will definitely not take any advantage. If he has a little idea, let the old man find the opportunity and use it directly. That soldier might even kill him. The old man Yin Tonghafa smiled. Go on, keep staring at the sword Tianhou's move. There is no need to make a fuss. At last the evil young man waved his hand. Hearing this, although the three lords of the Holy Realm still had some concerns in their hearts, they could only leave honestly. The masters of these three sacred realms are worried that Jian Wushuang's purpose of going to Mietian this time is to start with their three sacred realms. However, they do not know that Jian Wushuang is not working against the three sacred realms' intended shot. After he came to Mietian, he went straight to the demon domain, one of the 8 cities called Pure Land Piahuo City. When Jian Wushuang first came to Demon Realm, his parents and his elder brother lived in this city. However, this time he came to Piahuo City again, but found no trace of his parents. Isn't it in the Piahuo City? Jian Wushuang was not surprised. He had previously heard that the Lord of Space and Time said that the changes in the Divine Realm in the beginning of the year. One of the biggest changes is the wind and clouds in the Demon Realm. Now the 8 major cities in the Demon Realm are still Pure Land on the bright side. But secretly they are already the 9-tailed tribe and the other 3 peaks. The 9-tailed tribe now fights with those 3 peaks. It is obviously not safe to let your parents stay in the city of Piahuo again. So it is not surprising that his parents, his elder sister and second brother, should now be within the Jiwei tribe and protected by the Jiwei tribe. Go to the 9-tailed clan. Wu Jianzhou rushed away towards the 9-tailed clan immediately. Chapter 3647. There will be 3 changes today. The second will arrive, and 1 more later. The 9-tailed clan was once only one of the 4 major Protoss, and it was not considered to be very powerful among the 4 major Protoss. But now the 9-tailed clan is already the first group recognized by the Demon Realm, and its strength is already far ahead of it. On top of any peak group, even if the other 3 peak groups are united, they can only barely compete with the current 9-tailed group. The immense tribal land is covered by a huge giant circle. This heavy law formation is the 9-tailed guardian law formation, and the 5 elements law formation. Although this heavy array was broken by the broken feathers in the original battle, it was only temporarily broken. After the war, the nine-tailed family can resume the large-scale array, and the nine-tailed group can be restarted. Under the rule of Miss Shower, a family is getting stronger and stronger, and more treasure resources are used in this law formation, making this law formation stronger than before. Now this law formation is already a copper wall and iron wall. Even if the Lord of the Holy Land comes in person, I am afraid that this law formation cannot be shaken. However, before the current sword has no double-sided sword, it cannot meet any threat. I saw Jianwu's twin shape flickering, and he had reached the edge of the light film of the heavy law array. He raised his finger at random, slightly pointed at the light film in front of him, and a faint divine power permeated it. In the instant light film, there was a channel enough for people to enter and exit normally, but the entire matrix itself had no slight changes or movements. Until Jian Wushuang entered the Jiwei family along the passage, there was no movement, and the strong ones of the Jiwei family did not even notice it. After entering the ancestral land of the nine-tailed family, Jian Wushuang spread the power of his soul directly, and the entire nine-tailed family was exposed in front of him. Sure enough, my father and mother are indeed in the nine-tailed clan. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. He had sensed the breath of his parents. They are now in a manor in the north of the ancestral land of the Jiwei tribe. The manor is not only guarded by many guards, but also completely protected by the human formation. See out. The little shower did a good job of protecting her parents. In the past 100,000 years, these nine-tailed clans are indeed much stronger than they were at first. The number of rulers in this tribe alone has exceeded 100. Even the rulers who have reached the 6 realms of the void. There are also as many as 7, 2 of whom have reached the peak of 6 realms, and 1 has reached the extreme of 6 realms. Qi Jian Wushuang felt the arrogance of the nine-tailed family, but was quite surprised inside. He knew that Miss Shower had mastered the 9-life enchantment, and the charm method was terrible. He could directly control people without any action. In this way, he could easily control a large number of strong people and control some 6 realms. The strong are also normal. Jian Wushuang can understand, even if she controls the 2 powers of the peak of 6 realms. Jian Wushuang did not expect that there is even a 6-state extreme in this 9-tailed family. The 6 realms are extreme. Although it is nothing to the sword Jinshuang now, it is definitely the highest existence in the early world of God, second only to those who are the masters and the 3 sacred realms. And he remembered 100,000 years ago, he asked the old bone god, and learned that the 6 realms of the world at the beginning of the time were the most. In addition to the old bone himself, and the newly developed Shenhua Lord, the whole early in the world, there is only one other 6 realms. Hesitation is not possible. The other 6 strength extreme is the one who stays in front of the 9 tails. No wonder the 9-tailed family can become the first group recognized in the demon realm. And even the other 3 peak groups can barely compete. The original 9-tailed family has already reached such a level of strength. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly, but he didn't bother about it. But just then, okay. When Jian Jinshuang looked, his brows frowned slightly. He still stood in the void above the 9-tailed clan. Hiding his figure, no one could find his existence at all. And his gaze was at the manor where his parents lived. Outside the manor, several figures stopped a woman who was going to enter the manor. Princess Shadow, why don't you even say hello when you see me? You rush back. Among those figures, the head is a young man wearing a white robe. This young man with a smile on his face stared at the beautiful woman in front of him. While talking, his hand was symbolic. Go pat the woman's shoulder. The beautiful woman was taken aback, took a few steps back and said coldly, Sha Gongzi, I am already a husband, please respect yourself. Haha, what about husbands? In the early days, there were many long-lived practitioners in the world. After a long period of time, it was normal to change dozens or even hundreds of husbands. What is it? Princess, in my opinion, why do you abandon your useless husband and follow the boy in the future? The evil smile on the face of this white-robed evil young man is stronger, And he keeps moving forward. The beautiful woman approached, and her hand stretched out towards that woman's stop. A loud drink suddenly sounded, and in the manner, a figure hurried out. Seeing the man coming out, Jian Wushuang standing in the void at the top, but a smile appeared. The man who walked out of him was his second elder Zhuopeng. As for the beautiful woman, of course his wife, the shadow princess of the Blood Martin family. Sha Gongzi, what are you doing? Wu Zhuopeng came to Princess Ying and appeased Princess Ying. Then Taiching looked at the man in white robe. That is, Sha Gongzi looked at it. What do you do? What does the boy do? The expression on the face of the boy Sha has also changed, becoming a bit cold. Well, you didn't do anything best otherwise. You should be aware of the order given by the Jiwei patriarch. Our Bishuazhuang people can be different from those of the ordinary Jiwei tribe. You better be respectful. Zhuopeng Leng hummed. After speaking, Zhuopeng ignored the Sha Gongzi and returned to the manor with Princess Ying. Suddenly, when Zhuopeng and Ying entered the manor, the face of Sha Gongzi was completely gloomy. My son, my subordinates don't understand. This Zhuopeng is just a saint-level ant. As for Princess Naing, although the princess of the Blood Mink family, the Blood Mink family is nothing at all in front of you. Why didn't you come straight? A servant beside Sha Gongzi couldn't help asking. Chapter 36-48. 3 more arrived today. The servant knew the identity of Sha Gongzi and the power he possessed. There is a Blood Martin family in Luanxu district. This Sha Gongzi will not be considered at all. In fact, these Sha Gongzi have been hitting the wall for years. And when he heard the servant's words, the son of Sha said, Daughter, what do you know? If you can use strong, this son has already used strong. And you still use it? Just this Bishuazhuang. And Jiwei, those people of one family are really very different. When I came to this nine-tailed family with my father, the nine-tailed patriarch said on the spot that the entire nine-tailed family, no matter who I want to get, there is no problem. Only this Bishuazhuang, I can't touch, you know. He said this in front of my father. In front of the master? The servant immediately surprised. The nine-tailed patriarch has been asking for his father these years, and he is extremely polite to his father on weekdays. But this time he said it very toughly. Obviously, the position of Bishuazhuang in her heart is very high. And I have also investigated Bishuazhuang over the years. And I know that the reason why Bishuazhuang is special is that the third son of Bishuazhuang is the sword prince who made the whole world of the gods shake in the beginning of the beginning. Sha Gongzi said. Jiantianhe. The servant immediately surprised. Qi Jiantianhe. In the early days of the world, as long as it was an undead saint with the highest strength, or the ruler of the rule, no one knew it. That was the first demon in the history of the gods in the early days. At the level of saints, he dared to shake up the existence of the 3 sacred masters. Although nearly 100,000 years have passed, the sword heaven has also disappeared. However, his deeds and legends have been circulating in the early world of God. This sword is truly incredible in terms of talent and potential, and his background is not ordinary. Even my father didn't dare to be a bit timid about this sword. And he also told me not to provoke Bishuazhuang when he was fine. However, I have stayed in the nine-tailed family these years. Although the nine-tailed family is charming and charming, I have been tired of playing, and the shadow princess of the Blood Martin family is really long. People so. Master Sha Sha's words did not finish, but his servants already understood what he meant. They have been following Sha Gongzi, and they are very clear about what Sha Gongzi is. That is a master who relies on his father, and then becomes lawless. Since they followed Sha Gongzi, as long as he is a woman who looks like Sha Gongzi, almost nothing is unavailable. Even if the other party has some background and some strength, as long as the Shagzi wants, they can still be easily obtained, because those backgrounds are in front of the Shagzi's father. Nothing can be considered. No matter what kind of enemy he provokes, his father can easily set it flat. Only this time, he was tired of the Jiwei tribe, and then he liked Princess Ying. But Princess Ying is a member of Bishuazhuang, to the youngest of Bishuazhuang, and the legendary genius of the early gods. Although his father was not afraid of fear, He did not want to provoke him easily. So, he has been following the Shadow Princess for many years. But he has never dared to use hard. At most he just found a chance to harass the Shadow Princess. Son, since the princess has a sword behind her back, do you want to give up on that, son? The servant next to him whispered. Give up. Sha Gongzi sneered. The woman this boy looks like has never been available. And this Shadow Princess is the same. Even if there is a sword Tianho behind him, the sword Tianho has disappeared. For 100,000 years, who knows whether it is death or alive now. Not to mention, I am not stupid. I will not forcibly break into the Bishuazwang to grab it. I can wait for an opportunity. As far as I know, the Shadow Princess will be accompanied by that Zhuopeng to stay with several guards to return to the Blood Mink family. Although the Nine-Tailed family and the Blood Marten are allies, they are two after all. Different ethnic groups do not have a directly connected space channel. She still has to return to the Nine-Tailed clan by herself. And we can start on the way. Kill their guards, kill that Zhuopeng, and don't give them any chance to send a message or ask for help. As for the Princess Nang, suppress her first, wait for me to get tired, and then kill her. This demon domain there are many dangers. There are countless kinds of interceptions. They are killed on the way. As long as we clean our hands and feet, who can guess that we did it? As for the Sword Heaven, even if he really comes back one day, he won't find our heads. My son is wise. The servants complied immediately when they heard what Sha Gongzi said. There was also a proud smile on Gong Nasha's face. But they didn't know that their dialogue was heard in the ear by the swordless sword above, and the expression of swordless sword had already become extremely cold. Without any warning, Jianwu's double figure has swooped down. Outside of Bishuazwang, the son of Sha still looked at the manor in front with some nostalgia. And then he beckoned. Let's go back and find some Jiwei people first. Master Sha turned and the servants also turned, but when they turned around, they were shocked to find that a figure did not know when they had come to them. This figure came so suddenly. Although the Sha Gongzi is just a top-level undead saint, his ordinary ones are arranged by his father himself, and they are all the master level of rules. Among them, the one who just talked to Sha Gongzi is still master of the rules of the four realms. This kind of strength already existed in the realm of the gods in the early days. However, even the ruler who reached the four realms did not find at all when this figure came behind them. Who are you? Sha Gongzi frowned at the person in front of him. You just said that just waiting for the Princess Ying to return to the Blood Mink family. You will kill her. And Zhuopeng beside her? Jianwu's eyes were cold, and he stared at the sand dude in front of him. What is it? Sha Gongzi said coldly. He did not expect that the dialogue with his servants had even been heard by the people in front of him. And he heard them clearly. It's nothing. I just want to tell you that you died because of what you just said. Jian Wushuang's eyes never entrained any emotions. As soon as the voice fell, his right index finger had slowly lifted up and looked forward. Sha Gongzi nodded. Chapter 3649. The first is more. Not good. Seeing Jian Wushuang suddenly shot, Sha Gongzi's servants suddenly changed their faces. These ordinary people were arranged by Sha Gongzi's father next to Sha Gongzi. The purpose is to protect the safety of Sha Gongzi. Now I see that someone actually shot at Sha Gongzi. Although I don't know who the person in front of is, and what he is origin, but these servants still rushed forward without hesitation, trying to stop Jian Wushuang. However, just after the servants moved, a little divine power had swept out of Jian Wushuang, covering them at the same time. There are 4 servants around Sha Gongzi. All of them are masters of the rules. But when that trace of divine power was covered on them, all 4 masters of the rules showed a horror, and all 4 of them were in stature. There, 3 people watched as their gods began to collapse. This collapse, they couldn't stop it at all, and their divine power disappeared madly. Suddenly, the bodies of the 3 rulers were completely disintegrated, and the 3 figures disappeared completely in this heaven and earth. The only one who survived was the one who had spoken to Sha Gongzi before reaching the rule of the void. Although he wasn't dead, He couldn't move the slightest. He could only watch the disappearance of the 3 servants beside him in horror. At the same time, the sand dude in front of him was also hit by the index finger of Jian Wushuang's right hand. There was no change on the surface of the Sha Gongzi, but the divine power in his body had been wiped out instantly, and his voice had been completely cut off, leaving only a cold body, still standing there with his eyes widened. From beginning to end, no matter whether it was the 3 servants or the Sha Gongzi, there was no time to scream, but all 4 died. Do you know why you are not the same as them? Jian Wushuang retracted his palm and looked at the servant who had reached the void in a dim manner. This servant was already scared stupid. When he heard Jian Wushuang's words, he looked at Wu Jian's Chao Jian Wushuang. The reason you didn't die is because I want you to take the body of your son to your master and tell your master why the son of Sha died and killed. His name is Jian Tianhou. Wu Jianshuang's voice was very bland, but in the ear of the servant, it sounded like a thunder. Jian Tianhou? He is Jian Tianhou. The servant's whole body trembled. Qi Jian Tianhou. The reputation of the world in the early days was too great. Even though he has disappeared for nearly 100,000 years now, various legends about him are still spread in the early world of the gods. Just now he talked to Sha Gongzi about this sword Tianhou, and he knew that even the one behind them was unwilling to provoke this sword Tianhou easily. Now the man who killed Sha Gongzi turned out to be the sword heaven. You can roll. Jian Wushuang waved his hand. Where did the servant dare to stay? He immediately picked up the corpse of Sha Gongzi and ran towards the void in the side. Jian Wushuang took a look at the servant's direction of departure, but a cold smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The father of Sha Gongzi should be the 6th state extreme of the 9-tailed family. He can make smart choices. To him, the Sha Gong apparently hit the attention of his loved ones, and even planned to kill the princess on the way back to the blood mink family. You know, that Princess Shadow is his sister-in-law, and Zhuopeng, his second brother. Since the other party wants to kill his relatives, no matter who the other party is or what status he is, he will kill it without hesitation. What's more, he is completely despotic in the early world of God. Even the 3 sacred realms are completely out of his mind now. As for the father behind Sha Gongzi, Jian Wushuang didn't pay attention to it. Already, if the 6 realms is extremely uninteresting, it's no wonder I am. The sharp sword flashed in Wu Jian's eyes, but immediately stepped into the front of the Bishuazhuang. For Jian Wushuang, the heavy law formation at Bai Shuangzhuang is of no avail. He clearly came to Bai Shuazhuang, and soon outside the lobby. Before Wu entered the lobby, Jian Wushuang had already heard the conversation of his close relatives in the lobby. Yinger, rest assured, as long as there is a day of Bishuazhuang, the son of sand will never dare to hurt you. Zhuopeng comforted the shadow princess in her arms. The head of the Jiwei tribe has given an order long ago. No one can get arrogant in the Bishuazhuang. Although the son of Sha Shao has an extremely remarkable father, he does not dare to overdo it in the face of the order of the head of the Jiwei tribe. Sha Gongzi's status and identity are there. In these years, he has been wantonly in the Jiwei clan, and no one can manage it. Now that he is focusing on the younger brother and sister, it is definitely a big trouble for us. Zhuo Ice Road. Father, why don't we go and talk to the patriarch of Jiwei again? Zhuopeng couldn't help it. No. Zhuo Yunfeng, who was sitting at the top, waved his hand and said, after all, though the Sha Gongzi has acted a little bit, he hasn't done anything really excessive. The 9-tailed clan is now the first group in the demon domain, and the other 3 Protoss have been fighting against the 9-tailed clan. At this time, we can't bother her for a trivial matter, or it may cause resentment from the 9-tailed patriarch. Zhuo Yunfeng is very clear that his family is only temporarily attached to the Jiwei clan. The reason why the Jiwei clan will take care of them more is because of Jian Wushuang, and the Jiwei clan has done it for them. These years there are already enough things. If they have any trivial matters, they will take the initiative to bother the 9-tailed patriarch, which will inevitably cause the other party's dissatisfaction. That can't keep the entangled in the shadows all the time, Zhuo Pengshen said. But he has just finished. Rest assured, from now on, you don't need to worry about Sha Shatzi anymore. A voice echoed suddenly in the lobby. His voice dropped, and a familiar figure suddenly appeared in the middle of the lobby. As soon as Wu Jinshuang appeared, he immediately smiled. Father, mother, older sister, second brother, I am back. When I saw the figure suddenly appearing in front of me, Zhuo Yinfeng was surprised at first. Two children, Wu Zhuo Yinfeng and Luo Xinqin, stood up for the first time. Three brothers, Wu Zhuobing and Zhuopeng, immediately ushered in towards the sword unparalleled, and their faces were full of surprises. Chapter 3650. Second more. Shuang'er, you are finally back. The first person who came to Jianhui's front was Luo Xinqin. As a mother, she was the most worried about Jian Wushuang among the people present. Like Zhuo Yinfeng, Zhuo Bing, and Zhuo Peng. Although they are not worried about Jian Wushuang for so many years, they all know Jian Wushuang's strength and ability, and they believe that Jian Wushuang will definitely return. But some things are delayed in the middle already. I only have Luo Xinqin. She has always been at ease with Jian Wushuang. Even if she knows that her son is strong, she still cares about day and night. Until now, seeing Jian Wushuang appearing in front of her, she finally felt relieved. Mother, I'm sorry, these years have made you worry. Jian Wushuang apologized. He also knows that it took him too long to go outside this time. The most important thing is that because he has been trapped in that special space and time for nearly 100,000 years, it is calculated. Because it is in the cosmic void, he can't report his peace to these loved ones as soon as possible, and they will naturally cause them worry. Anyway, just come back. Zhuo Yinfeng smiled. Yes, the third brother. You have spent nearly 100,000 years going out this time. We were really worried at first, but now that you return home safely, it will be fine. Zhuo Bing also smiled. By the third brother, when you first entered the door, you said you don't have to worry about the SH Gong from now on. What's going on? Zhuo Peng asked. It's very simple. When I just came in, I saw the scene where he was entangled with his sister-in-law. And I also heard that Sha Shatzi discussed with his servants after you entered Bishuazwang, and only waited for the sister-in-law to return to the Blood Martin family. I intercepted you on the way, so I came forward and killed the sand dude directly. Jian Wushuang Feng Qingyan said indifferently. He could hear him, but Zhuo Peng was startled. Three brother, what did you just say? You killed Sha Shatzi? Zhuo Peng looked at Jian Wushuang in horror. It's killing. Jian Wushuang smiled. Not only him, but also his three servants are dead. As for his body, I took the rest of his servants back. Three brother, although Sha wanted to kill us on the way between Yinger and Yinger's Blood Martin family, it really is good, but he couldn't kill him. Zhuo Peng frowned. Yes, the third brother, although Sha is not a thing, after all, he has a very good father. His father, even the current nine-tailed patriarch, has a respectful presence. Zhuo Bing also. Shuang'er, Zhuo Yinfeng and Luo Xinqin also looked at Xiang Jian Wushuang anxiously. Jian Wushuang smiled. Second brother, elder sister, you don't need to worry. Although I haven't met the father of Sha Gong, I already felt his presence when I came to the Jiwei clan, and since he dared to kill Sha Gong directly, he is naturally able to cope with his father. Able to cope with his father? Zhuo Peng looked surprised at Xiang Jian Wushuang. Although his strength is still only a saint level, but because of his origin in Bishuazwang, he is very special in the Jiwei family. He usually has many contacts with the Jiwei family. He also naturally heard the father's ability. As far as he knows, the father of Sha Gongzi is said to be the master of the strongest rule in the early divine realm. In the early divine realm, only the three sacred realms can qualify to be above his father, Lord and legendary masters. Such a superpower, his third brother can easily handle it? Three brother, are you really sure? Zhuo Bing also looked over. Just rest assured. If Sha's father doesn't come, he's fine. If he does come, he'll lose himself. Jian Wushuang smiled. Not only with absolute confidence in his words, at the same time, he also carried disdain for the father of Sha Gongzi. It is indeed true that the master of the ultimate rule of the six realms is indeed no longer his heart. Now he can make him face up. That is only the strong dominated level, and not the ordinary primary dominated. As long as the higher and higher dominated, he is eligible to be treated seriously. What else is the father of Jaina Shah? Wu Jinshuang is talking to his relatives, but at this moment, people in Bishuazwang, get out of my husband. There was a roar, but it was a fierce blast in this world. This roar contained a terrifying shock wave. This shock wave was extremely arrogant. At the first time, it directly smashed the heavy law circle around Bishuazwang. At the same time, a strong oppression came immediately to everyone in Bishuazwang. Under this oppression, the guards in Bishuazwang knelt on the ground in horror, one by one shaking. As for the people in the lobby, because of the existence of Jian Wu, they could easily withstand the oppression, and naturally there was no discomfort. But after hearing this roar, Zhuo Yanfeng's look changed. Is Sha Gongzi's father Shahai Lord? Zhuo Peng said in a low voice. Shahai Demon Lord? Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. This Shahai Demon Lord really came to the door. And yes, my previous record and fame may be able to scare the rule master. But this Sha, after all, the master of the sea monster, is the master of the extreme rules of the 6 realms, and he will not be scared by my previous records. Wu Jianshou smiled faintly, followed a few people around him and said, since the Shahai Demon Lord has come to the door actively, let's go out and meet him for a while. After finishing talking, Jian Wushuang and Zhuo Yanfeng walked towards the manor together. Nine-tailed clan, the deepest place in the clan, the current head of the Nine-tailed clan, that is Miss Shower, is negotiating with some senior elders of the Nine-tailed clan. The current Nine-tailed clan has many powerful men, but most of the powerful ones are controlled by this young lady with 9-life charm. They absolutely obey the order of Miss Shower, but these elders of the Nine-tailed clan, Shao, it is not enough to control them all. At this moment, people in Bishuazwang, get out of my husband. The roar of the Shahai Lord not only sounded in the entire Bishuazwang, but also the entire Nine-tailed family. The Shower and the many elders of the Nine-tailed family discussed here, including the countless members of the Nine-tailed family. Almost they all heard the roar. Bishuazwang. Su Shower's face suddenly changed. This voice and this angry atmosphere is the Lord of the Sands. Oops. Xiao Xiao no longer cares about the matter at hand, and immediately sets off to rush towards Bishuazwang at the fastest speed. Chapter 3651. There is something temporary. There is only one chapter today, and the next chapter is due the day after tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow. Because of the roar before, the Bishuazwang at this moment has become the focus of the Jiwei clan. Nine-tailed clan chiefs who heard a lot of that roar arrived here. And when these clan people saw standing in the void outside Bishuazwang, their robes rolled, and the fierce lord of the sandy sea, and a person beside him when the icy corpses supported by the ruler were surprised. They all recognized that the corpse was the son of Shahai Demon Lord, Sha Gongzi, Lord of the Sands. This is a super powerful master who has reached the rule of the Lord, and this existence was invited by their patriarch at a great cost. The purpose is of course to deal with the already united 3 great Protoss. After all, the 3 Protoss joined forces, and their strength is extremely strong. Although the Nine-tailed tribe has skyrocketed in strength over the years because of Miss Shower, the overall strength is not much stronger than the 3 Protoss joined together. Therefore, Nine-tails, if a family wants to defeat these 3 Protoss with an overwhelming trend, or even unify the entire demon domain, then it must have a stronger combat force to join. A 6-strength extreme power can play a decisive role in the battle between the 2 camps in this monster realm. Therefore, the importance of the Shahai Demon Lord to the Jiwei can be imagined. And let's not talk about the price that Miss Shower paid to invite the Shahai Demon Lord to the Jiwei clan. It is just these years that Miss Shower acquiesced to the Shahai Demon's son Sha Gongzi's wanton behavior. It can be seen that Miss Shower pays attention to Shahai Demon Lord. It is for this reason that in the weekdays, the Jiwei people are in awe of the Shahai Demon Lord, and they respect their son Sha Gongzi. They dare not provoke them, but now that Sha Gongzi died, no wonder this Lord of the Sands will be so furious. Giantianho, get out! When the people were talking about it, The lord of the Shanghai made another cold and scream. Jian Tianhou? When I heard this name, many people of the Jiwei clan were shocked again. Suddenly in the void not far away, the mist shower who was galloping, and the elders and seniors of the Jiwei clan were also shocked. The names of Jian Tianhou are no stranger to the Jiwei people. Sand Lord of the Sea, you dare to come? Jian Wushuang's cold laughter resounded in this heaven and earth, and his figure has slowly walked out of the Bishuazwang, behind him, and Zhuozhua in the Bishuazwang Yunfeng and Luo Xinqin. As soon as I saw Jian Wushuang, the eyes of the Shanghai demon seemed to burst into anger. Jian Tianhou, you have such a courage to dare to kill my son. Not only are you going to die today, but everyone in this Bishuazwang will have no place to die. These people in Bishuazwang should be yours be relatives. And I'll torture these people one by one in front of you. Shanghai demon said coldly. Want to kill me, kill my loved ones. Jian Wushuang's mouth slightly angled, laughed. Then you have to have such ability. This seat will let you see. Don't think that you have some slight record. Then you can run rampant in the beginning of the world. The killing spirit of the Lord of the Sands is surging wildly, and a lot of divine power is spreading like a tide. Out. All of a sudden, a terrifying coercion filled the world. Sandmaster, stop. The Lord of the Shanghai Devil has not yet shot, but many high-level members of the Jiwei clan have already arrived. The current head of the Jiwei tribe Shower, the elders of the Jiwei tribe, have also come to the void outside Bishuazwang. After arriving here, the young lady looked at the corpse around the Lord of the Sands and stood there. When the sword outside Wushuang's wang was unparalleled, her eyes and pupils shrank drastically, and her heart probably guessed the whole process. Chief Nine-Tailed, do you want to stop me? Shanghai demon glanced at Shower coldly. Although Shower is the head of the Nine-Tailed clan, and the Nine-Tailed clan is now as high as the sun, but as the ultimate strength of the 6 realms, the Shanghai demon lord did not take Shower and the Nine-Tailed clan to heart. Shanghai demon lord, I am afraid there is some misunderstanding of this today. Xiao Erlian said. Misunderstanding? Shanghai demon sneered. This sword is killing me, and the guards around him will bring his body back to me to see. Is this a misunderstanding? This. Xiao Air sank slightly, followed by Jian Wushuang looking down. Jian Tianhou, when are you back in the clan? Just returned. Jian Wushuang do. The son of Sha you killed? Xiao asked again. If you are talking about the corpse next to the Lord of the Sands, I did kill it. Jian Wushuang admitted frankly. I heard Jian Wushuang's answer. Xiao Air's face was even more ugly. President Nine-Tailed. You also heard that this sword Tianhou killed my son, and was so arrogant that he didn't put this seat in his eyes. No matter who he came out today, this seat will not give face. He also today you must die. The voice of the Shanghai demon lord was cold, and at the moment the voice fell, a sharp arc flashed in his eyes. There is no sign of this. The Lord of the Sands has already appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. At the same time, a cold spear has stabbed at the sword Wushan deity like lightning. Too fast. This Shanghai demon lord is indeed a strong battler in the 6 realms. The speed of his shot is too bad. Many of the strong nine-tailed powers around him, including the Miss Shower, did not react at all. Miss Shower wanted to stop, but she was obviously too late. What's more, the spear stabbed by the Lord of the Sands is too fast and too aggressive. It is a full blow of the 6 realm extreme, and it has already completely locked Jian Wushuang. It is clear that it is not intended to give sword warriors no chance. Seeing this spear speared by lightning, many nine-tailed patriarchs around him showed their horror. The spear of might spun out of the spear, and letting it escape at will has caused many rulers present to be shocked. It is conceivable how powerful the spear is, and this spear, towards the sword Wushuang stabbed away. 2 children. 3 brother, be careful. Several people behind Zhui Yanfeng's face changed greatly. Although Jian Wushuang himself said that he didn't need to care about the Shanghai demon at all, now they saw that the Shanghai demon took the shot himself, and felt the spear contained in it. Of the horror of power, they still began to worry about the sword unmatched. However, in the face of this terrifying spear, Jian Wushuang only smiled slightly. His right hand was raised, and his slowly extended, Chapter 3652. The first is here. The sound of sounded like a metal impact. The shocking divine power formed a terrifying shock wave, swept away in all directions. Many of the nine-tailed ethnic groups standing in the surrounding void, those who were close to each other under this shock wave, were blown up and down, even if they were relatively far away, and were also shocked to keep their eyes open. Until a moment later, the shock wave dissipated. The talent looked up again, and looked forward into the void. At this glance, everyone's eyes and pupils stared round. I saw that in the void, Jian Wushuang still stood there casually, with one hand on his back, and the index finger of the other hand was just the tip of the spear that came from the stab of the Lord of the Sands. The spear of the Lord of the Sands once contains the power that can definitely kill any ruler under the 6 realms, even if it is the ruler of the 6 realms. At least it has to be hit hard. But now, Jian Wushuang only uses one finger to resist the spear pierced by the full force of the Lord of the Sands, but his body is still intact. What is this strength? How is that possible? The Lord of the Sands and Sea himself is also cyanotic. He knew very well that this spear was used with all his strength. With the extreme combat power of his 6 realms, he speared them with all his might, even if they were the 3 lords of the highest sanctuary in the beginning of the divine realm. It also takes a little effort to resist. With just one finger, he stagnated his spear by birth. This strength, even the 3 sacred masters never possessed it. Dominate the combat power? The Lord of the Shahai could not help but think of this thought, and the bottom of his heart had set off a huge wave. He has also heard of Jian Wushuang before, and he also knows some achievements of Jian Wushuang. Although those achievements are quite amazing, the real strength of Jian Wushuang in those achievements is not enough to make his 6 realms extremely powerful. Feared. Don't talk about fear. Even he doesn't have to worry about it. The reason why he was unwilling to provoke Jian Wushuang easily was mainly because of Jian Wushuang's potential. The talent and potential of Jian Wushuang are so strong that no one knows what he will achieve in the future. Because of this, he is unwilling to provoke Jian Wushuang. However, talent and potential do not mean how strong Jian Wushuang is now. At least today when I saw Jian Wushuang, the Lord of the Sands had never thought of Jian Wushuang's combat power, and would be stronger than him. After all, Jian Wushuang lost his trace in the divine realm in the early days, and it was less than 100,000 years. In the short period of 100,000 years, it was actually a short period of time for the ruler. He thought that Jian Wushuang was here in the past 100,000 years. The strength may have improved, but never imagined that Jian Wushuang's strength has even been improved to such an incredible degree. With the help of a finger, I will go all out to pierce the spear. This kind of strength is completely dominating the level. After thinking about this, the bottom of Shahai Demon Lord made an instant decision. Escape. There was no hesitation. The moment the Lord of the Sands knew the sword's combat power, he turned around and began to flee wildly. As for the hatred of his son, he didn't want to report it at all now. Jokes, my son can regenerate, but his life is only one. The Lord of the Sands and Seas has been able to go step by step today, and has made endless efforts. Of course he cherishes his life. I saw that the Prince of the Sand and Sea turned around and fled, and the patriarchs of the Jiwei family, who were watching the surrounding scenes, showed their astonishment. But Jian Wushuang smiled a little. Did you just say that you want to kill me? And have you tortured my former ones one by one to death? Now your goals have not been achieved yet. Why are you anxious? Are you leaving? Wu Jianshuang's words contained a strong sense of ridicule. He watched the Lord of the Sands flee, but did not want to leave to chase. Until the Lord of the Sands has escaped to the end of the void, and seeing that he was about to escape from his sight, the 2 sides of the sword slowly extended their fingers. Okay. The word fell, and the power of a large number of time and space rules, with the huge power of direct coverage of the past, directly covered the entire nine-tailed tribe. Suddenly, the space-time integrating the nine-tailed clan completely stagnated, and the Shahai demon, who had escaped to the end of the void, was also caught in the stasis of time and space, and his body could not move at all. A designated sky technique. The first form of space-time magic, this sword has not been cast for a long time. After all, he was only a saint, and his divine power was not too strong. In addition, his use of the rules of time and space was not too high. The main thing is that most of the opponents he encountered along the way were far higher than his existence. This also makes it difficult for him to exert much influence on the other party, even if he exerts his full power on a given sky. But now it's different. At present, his divine power is absolutely dominated. Even if the use of the rules of time and space is not too high, he can only use this outrageous divine power to perform a designated astronomy. There is basically no master of any rules can resist. As soon as a designated astronomy comes out, the 6 strength extremes such as the Lord of the Sands will immediately fall into the stagnation of time and space, and then the swordless double figure is a flash and has left the place when he appeared again. The Lord of the Sands had completely fallen into his control, and the power of the Lord of the Sands had been severed by him by more than 90%, and the whole person was already in the weakest. The state even fell into a deep sleep. Miss Shower, I know that the Lord of the Sands is extremely important to you, but after all, he is the most powerful of the 6 realms. Your 9-life enchantment cannot completely control him, so now I will help you. He was forced to the weakest and deepest stage of sleep. At this time, if you can no longer control him, it is no wonder I am. Wu Jianshou smiled lightly and waved his hands at will, and the Shanghai Demon Lord, who was already so weak and had lost his resistance, was thrown to Shower's side. Sword Wuxia is right. Shanghai Demon Lord is very important to her. She must rely on the strength of Shanghai Demon Lord to suppress the 3 Protoss. But Shanghai Demon Lord is too strong. She can't control it at all. She can ask him for help with some superior conditions or benefits. Even when the Sha Gongzi was lawless in the 9-tailed clan, she just opened her eyes and closed her eyes. But the power that can't be controlled is tantamount to a certain time bomb, which also keeps some scruples in her heart. And now, Jian Wuxuang's move definitely helped her a lot. Chapter 3653. Hey, the second is here. Without any hesitation, Shower directly cast the 9-life charm and began to control the Lord of the Sands. In the peak period of the Shanghai Demon Lord, even if he is in the midst of severe damage, Shower cannot directly control it with charm, but now, the Shanghai Demon Lord is weak and falls asleep. At this juncture, there is absolutely no resistance. Only for a moment, Shower has controlled the Shanghai Demon Lord. Xiao Er had an irrepressible surprise in his heart after he controlled the Lord of the Sands. You know, this is a real 6-realm extreme. Now she has become her slave, which means that she can control this battle power as she wants. Although now the Lord of the Sands has fallen asleep. However, as long as there are some talented and precious treasures, it will not be long for this Shanghai Demon Lord to wake up and restore its peak strength. I took a deep breath, and Shower finally came over to Jian Wuxuang. When I came to Jian Wuxuang, looking at Jian Wuxuang at the moment, Xiao Er was a little complicated inside. You know, the first time she saw Jian Wuxuang in the Endless Territory, Jian Wuxuang was still an ant-like figure in her eyes, just because she saw that Jian Wuxuang was carrying several mysteries of Qi Xingzong, and he and Qi Xing Xuanzong had a lot of connection, so she was willing to associate with Jian Shuangshuang, and even formed an alliance. When we met again later, Jian Wuxuang had already had a monstrous reputation in the early world of the gods, and he was also followed by a powerful Shenhua lord, and a strong man from the Xingong, even respected Jian Wuxuang. At that time, it was because of the help of Jian Wuxuang that she was able to regain control of the 9-tailed clan, and until now she has led the 9-tailed clan to become the first family of the demon domain. Now, this is the 3rd time she has seen Jian Wuxuang. As a result, this time Wu Jianshuang's monstrous strength was revealed, but she had nothing to look at. The master of the Sand Sea, who is the ultimate in the 6 realms, has no hands in this sword, and he is like a baby. He has no ability to struggle and resist. When I met 3 times, Jian Wuxuang's growth rate was really terrible. Giantianho, if I'm not mistaken, you should have reached the level of master now? Xiao asked. Many people around Jiwei also looked at Jian Wushuang in the past. They also have doubts in their hearts. Is this sword lord already dominated? Most people think that they should have already been reached. After all, the horrific combat power that Jian Wushuang just showed can only be achieved by the strong masters. But some people also think that although Jian Wushuang is far stronger than the rule master, it should not have reached the level of dominance. And Jian Wushuang just smiled. You can think of me as an ordinary master. As soon as the words came out, Xiao knew immediately. She knows that even though Jian Wushuang is not really the master now, she definitely has the power of master level. You can't think of it in less than 100,000 years. You have already reached this step. Xiao couldn't help but sigh. Miss Xiao, these years, thank you for taking care of my parents and others. Jian Wushuangdo. Through previous conversations with Zhuo Yinfeng and others, Jian Wushuang knew that in the years that he had fought in the universe, the Miss Xiao was good to them, and he opened a clear water village for them in the Nine-Tailed clan. It was also commanded that the position of Fan Shuizwang in the Jiwei tribe is equivalent to the worship of the Jiwei tribe. So in the past 100,000 years, Zhuo Yinfeng has been very comfortable here. At least no one dares to find trouble for them. And what kind of needs do they have? Even the son of Sha. It is because of Xiao's strict orders and restrictions that he has never dared to overdo it in these years. I can say that this young lady is really taking care of them, and Jian Wushuang is satisfied with her care. Jiantianho, listen to what you mean. When you come back this time, are you taking your loved ones away? Xiao asked. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. I'm back this time to take them back to the endless territory and back to their own place. As soon as Wu Jianshuang's words were finished, Zhuo Yinfeng, who was standing behind, was immediately excited. Shuanger, you just said, we are going back to Wuxia wasteland. Zhuo Yinfeng stepped forward. Yes, father. Jian Wushuang nodded with a smile. Before I had provoked strong enemies in the early world of God. I was worried that those strong enemies would be detrimental to you. So I have always let Miss Xiao take care of you. But now although those strong enemies are still there, with my current strength, I can stop paying attention to those strong enemies. And even after a short time, I will take action and destroy all those strong enemies. Naturally, you can also return to the Witch Sandy Wasteland. Jian Wushuang knows that among these close relatives, Zhuo Bing and Zhuo Peng are okay. But Zhuo Yinfeng and Luo Xinqin have stayed in Wuxia Wasteland, and have long regarded Wuxia Wasteland as their own roots. These years they have been under the protection of Xiao. Although they have been more comfortable, they still want to return to their hometown. But they also know that Jian Wushuang handed them over to Xiao to take care of them, and they definitely had a purpose, so they have not asked Xiao to take them back in these years. Until now, I heard Jian Wushuang said that they could return to their hometown. Of course excited, of course rejoicing. Father, mother, go ahead and prepare, we will start tomorrow. Jian Wushuangdo. It is good. Ji Zhuo Yinfeng and Luo Xinqin both agreed and rejoiced. And soon everyone in Bishuizwang went back to prepare. The people around the Jiwei people also began to disperse. Jian Tianho, can you talk about it in time? Xiao said. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. Follow me. Wu Xiao led Jian Wushuang, and soon came to a secret room of the Jiwei clan. Except for Xiao and Jian Wushuang, there is no one in this secret room. Even the senior elders of the Jiwei clan are not present. Jian Tianho, you said that it won't take long before you will destroy your strong enemies. And your strong enemies refer to? Xiao looked at Jian Wushuang. 3 sacred realms. Jian Wushuang said directly. Sure enough. Xiao took a secret breath. She knows some origins of Jian Wushuang, and naturally knows that Jian Wushuang's strong enemies are the 3 sacred realms. But what she did not expect is that Jian Wushuang is about to prepare for the 3 sacred realms. 3 sacred realms were deeply ingrained in the divine realm in the early days. The Lord of the three sacred realms had the blessing of heavenly will, and it was not easy to uproot them, Shower said. Chapter 3654. The first is here. The Lord of the three holy realms is nothing, but you said that the three holy realms are deeply entrenched and difficult to uproot. This is a fact. Sword Wuxia, the masters of the three sacred realms, even under the might of the will of the heavens, are better than the main rules, but they are far worse than the real masters. With the current combat power of Jian Wuxia, it is easy to defeat and even kill the three holy land lords. However, Demon Star has three masters who have already come to this territory and may have also come to the early divine realm. If the three masters join forces with the three holy masters, it will be able to cause him some trouble. But it's just some trouble. After all, this pre-god world is just a third-level world star. The rules do not allow thee of the combat power. All the masters who come to the pre-god world will be greatly limited in strength. Even if the three masters are magic clouds, the people under the master, the heavenly will power of the world, at the beginning will still suppress them. Even if the Lord of the clouds is not willing to suppress it, the cosmic laws in it can make him have to suppress it. Since the combat power of the three masters will be greatly suppressed, it is also impossible to compete with him. Miss Shower, when I shot at the three holy realms, I hope you can lead the entire demon realm and help me to destroy the three holy realms together. Jian Wuxia, it would be no problem for me to help you fully. Now I can fully grasp the extreme power of the 6 realms of the Lord of the Sands. It is not difficult to unify the entire demon realm, but the 3 sacred realms dominated the world in the beginning for a long time. Relying solely on the power of my demon realm, I wanted to wipe out all the power of the 3 sacred realms. This is impossible. Shower said. It's not enough to have a demon field alone. But what about the 3 major free alliances? Jianwu Shuangdou. 3 freedom alliances? Shower froze. Miss Shower, to tell you the truth, the 3 major free alliances are on the same line as me. As long as I shoot against the 3 sanctuaries, the 3 major free alliances will help me at all costs. It is not only the 3 major free alliances, but also the many powerful men left over by Qixing Xuanzong at that time, and they will also shoot. Jianwu Shuangdou. Hearing this, Shower's figure shuddered, and he quickly looked at Jianwu Shuang. Jian Tianhou. The day you started on the 3 sacred realms, the strong man left by Qixing Xuanzong will see him again. Then, that person will also appear? Xiao Shower's voice was obviously agitated and nervous. Of course Jian Wushuang knew who the person Shower was talking about. He smiled and said, Miss Shower, don't worry. There are many strong men left behind by Qixing Xuanzong. And the person you said, of course it will be among them. And you will naturally meet Miss Shower when you arrive. Qi Jian Wushuang had already learned from Shower's mouth that she had a special relationship with the 7th Emperor Xuanzong and the 7th Star Emperor 13. The one who has been dreaming about these years is Emperor 13. And Emperor 13 is within the resealed law formation. Only himself can refine the seal law formation into his own heaven and earth. At that time, he can of course let the people inside come to the kingdom of Taichu and arrange Emperor 13. It's very easy to meet Miss Shower. That being the case, now I will speed up and suppress the 3 major protoss. Before you start working on the 3 sacred realms, I will definitely unify the power of the entire demon realm to help you destroy the 3 sanctuary. Shower solemnly said, Okay, but I still have a merciless request. Jian Wushuang said suddenly. Please say. Shower was very polite. The ancient tribe, one of the 3 major protoss, is more or less related to me. I have also received some favors from the ancient tribe. So I hope Miss Shower will be able to treat this ancient tribe when you unify the entire demon domain. Open the net. Jian Wushuangdou. The ancient tribe, one of the 4 major protoss. Jian Wushuang and the ancient tribe have a good relationship. Of course, this is because of the last life in the 7 star gods. At that time, he had the blood of the ancients, and he had also been inherited by a strong man from the ancients. He had also cultivated the strongest of the ancients. Refining mystery, I can say that his growth in the last life was absolutely inseparable from the ancients. Even though he did not have any contact with the ancients in this life, the ancients still had a little status in his heart. The sword Wushuang knew that if Shower wanted to unify the entire demon domain, he would have to take the 3 major protoss. If it was just to defeat the 3 major protoss, and let the 3 major protoss bow their heads, that is fine. But its serious point, Shower may directly destroy the 3 major protoss at any time. So Jian Wushuang will now ask the ancients for a favor. As far as I know, there doesn't seem to be any intersection between you and the ancient clan. Would it make me show mercy to them? Shower looked surprised at Xiang Jian Wushuang. Sometimes there were some people, but no one knew about it. Jian Wushuang laughed. Well, since you plead with myself, then I will open the net to this ancient tribe, and will not kill them. At least it will not destroy their ethnic group. If they know each other, they are willing to surrender to my 9-tailed tribe. Then this ancient group will still be the pinnacle of the demon domain in the future. Shower said. Thank you so much. Jian Wushuang smiled and arched his hand. After talking with Shower, Jian Wushuang returned to Bishuazwang. The people in the Zhuangbi water village were also ready, and then under the leadership of Jian Wushuang, a group of people looted toward the endless territory. 20 days later, the endless territory, one of the 9 realms of Jingwu, is within the holy realm of Danyang. In the vast void, there are dozens of silhouettes walking there. These silhouettes are male and female. They are rushing through the void, passing along some cities, and even some gates along the way. The practitioners inside the door looked up to see these figures, but all of them were frightened. It should be noted that this is in an endless territory, and it is still within an ordinary sacred realm. An ordinary sacred realm is generally the strongest person who is the level of the undead saint, and it is also the type of undead saint with the lowest strength. But now, this dozens of silhouettes passing by in the void, any random breath, is enough to shock many practitioners along the way. Obviously, these dozens of silhouettes are all powerful men above the undead saints. In this Danyang Holy Realm, in the Jinwu Nine Realms, and in the entire Endless Territory, the undead saints are the top strong men. So many the gathering of undead saints is naturally frightening, and these dozens of silhouettes are naturally swordsmen and others. Chapter 3655. Hey, the second is here. The reason there are dozens of people is because in the nearly 100,000 years since Jian Wushuang left, their descendants of the Zhua family have continued to multiply for many generations, except that some are not too far away from Jian Wushuang. Apart from the direct descendants, the other descendants did not live in the Jiawei clan, so that Jian Wushuang did not see it when he arrived in Bishuazwang. Now that he wants to return to the Endless Territory, Zhou Yinfeng will return with some of his children and grandchildren who are closer to him. Only then will there be dozens of people. Father, it's almost time to burn the Moon City. Jian Wushuangdo. Ha! Zhou Yinfeng clenched his hands. His heart was extremely excited. He is not only him, but also Luo Xinqin, Zhou Bing and Zhou Peng. A few of them were born in the Endless Territory, born in the Wuxia Desert area. Naturally have a very high sense of belonging to this Wuxia Desert area. Especially Zhou Yinfeng. He was still the owner of the city of the Burnt Moon. As for the other descendants of Zhua, including Zhou Peng's wife, Princess Ying, they are more curious about this endless territory and this city of Burning Moon. Soon, the group finally reached the sky above the city of Burning Moon. He looked down at the city below, and Jian Wushuang's soul power saw every corner of the city in his eyes. And his heart also had a hint of sigh. In this lifetime, he shot in this city of Burning Moon, and he also knew that before he was born, it was snowing for 9 years, 9 months, and 9 days, and his mother was pregnant with him for 9 years and 9 years, months and 9 days. After he was born, the snowfall of the Burning Moon city immediately stopped, and the Blood Peak sword fell from the sky, causing a restlessness. With all this, Jian Wushuang at this moment couldn't help but sigh. He just sighed a little, but Zhou Yinfeng and Luo Xinqin were already excited. It is the city of Burning Moon. I have seen the main city of that city. Although it is very different from before, the willow tree in the house is still there. It has been more than 100,000 years. This willow tree is still alive. Zhou Yinfeng was trembling in shape. He ignored the surrounding swords and other people, and himself swooped down directly towards the main city hall below. Looking at your monkey anxious look, I don't know how to converge in front of the juniors. Father, wait a minute. Luo Xinqin and Zhou Bing even spoke, and they immediately swept down. Jian Wushuang and others naturally followed. The city's main mansion of the Burnt Moon City is indeed still there, but the lord of the Burnt Moon City has already changed several. The current city owner is a cultivator who has reached the realm of gods and demons. Demon God realm, in Wuxia Wasteland, is already a strong one. However, when Jian Wushuang arrived at the city's main government, they all felt a little bit of divine power, and they scared the city directly to worship. not to mention those lower-level practitioners in the city's main government. After half an hour, the main city of this city barely calmed down. But at this moment the main city of the City of the Burnt Moon has been reopened by Zhuo Yinfeng. As for the original city owner, Zhuo Yinfeng gave him some treasures at will, and let him. Those assistants were grateful, and left with excitement over those treasures. Zhuo Yinfeng is now an undead saint, and he has spent so many years in the Jiwei clan. He has such a special status, and naturally gets a lot of resources. Some of the treasures he took out casually were against a demon realm. In other words, it is simply a gift from God. Of course, the Lord of the gods and demon realms is amazed. As for the position of this Lord, he still cares. 100,000 years have passed, and the City of Burning Moon has changed a lot. Zhuo Yinfeng stood under the ancient willow in the city's main government house, stroking the willow, sighing secretly. 100,000 years is quite long for an ordinary wasteland in the sacred realm of endless territory. In the past 100,000 years, not only the Burning Moon City has changed a lot, but the pattern of the entire Wuxia wasteland has changed a lot. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. After he came to the holy land of Danyang, he directly released the power of his soul. In the endless territory, the space is far less stable than the triple sky. The range of the spread of his soul power can be wider. With a single thought, he can see the entire Danyang holy realm in his eyes. The changes in the world are naturally clear to him. I won't say that in the Wuxia wasteland, those Zhongmen forces have changed a lot. Even the entire Danyang holy realm is very different from before. However, the same as 100,000 years ago, this Danyang holy realm is still controlled by Redstone Castle. And the ruler of Redstone Castle is still Yin Suer, the daughter of Saint Redstone. And after 100,000 years, the strength of Yin Suer has also been improved a bit more than before. It is now a genuine first-order true saint. In this Jinwu 9 realm, it is already an absolute overlord. Jian Wushuang once had something to do with this Yin Suer, but she only promised the Red Stone Sage at the beginning, which will help her take full control of the Red Stone Castle. There is no extra friendship between the two, so this time, Jian Wushuang did not intend to inform this Yin Suer, let alone meet each other. He was only here to bring his loved ones back here. And in addition to refining the Blood North secret, now that Zhuo Yinfeng and others have returned to the City of Burning Moon, Jian Wushuang has laid a simple circle for the main palace of the City of Burning Moon. To ensure that no change will occur in the City of Burning Moon, he and Zhuo Yinfeng and others explained that he left for the secret place of Xuebei. The North Mystery is within the sanctuary of Danyang. At the beginning, Jian Wushuang learned about the existence of the Blood North realm under the chance. But later he got a lot of good opportunities in the Blood North secret territory, especially the Star of the Cosmic Battlefield, given by Xuebei. The map is the star map, leading him to find the special time and space in the unexplored area of the Magic Smoke Valley. And he got great chance in that special time and space. Jian Wushuang is grateful for the Blood North, the place where the bones are buried. One of the dangerous places recognized by Danyang Holy Realm, but it is like flat ground to the current Sword Wushuang. Jian Jinshuang easily came to the entrance of the Blood North Mystery. Looking at the entrance in front, Jian Wushuang couldn't help smiling. He remembers that he first came to the entrance of the Blood North scenic spot for the first time, but he brought a token. Without the token, he could not find the existence of the Blood North scenario. At that time, he felt that the Blood Northern scenario was hidden deeply, and the means were extremely clever. But now, Jian Wushuang can see through this Blood North secret at a glance. Ignoring the obstacles of the mysterious circle, Jian Wushuang entered the mystery directly, and rushed along the way, and easily came to the core of this mystery. At the same time, Jian Wushuang also saw the Old Soul Valley in this secret realm, and a trace of consciousness left by the Blood North. Tomorrow there will be 3 changes, and the previous change owed. Chapter 3656. The first is here. Mr. Xuebei, Lao Gu, the two are here for nothing. When Jian Wushuang appeared in front of Su Xuebei, and the ancient too, They were startled, especially Gu Lao. You know, he is the spirit of this mysterious realm. According to the truth, whenever there is any wind and grass moving in the northern secretion, he is clear. But now someone has come to the northern secretion, and it still appears in front of them. Perception. When Xuebei and Gu Lao clearly came, they were even more shocked. You are the little guy in the first place? Xuebei's consciousness gathered and looked at Jian Wushuang in amazement. It's me. It's been over 100,000 years. I didn't expect that this consciousness of Mr. Xuebei is still there. Jian Wushuang smiled. It's just consciousness. It doesn't matter if it exists or not. It's you. I've seen it again after 100,000 years, but I can't even see you at all. And I can enter this mysterious state in silence and appear in front of me. Your current strength should be very good. I wonder what level it has reached. Xuebei asked. He is really curious about Jian Wushuang's current strength, because he can't see the sword unmatched at all now. I have to know that he was also the master of the rules of the Void Realm during his lifetime, so that he could not see through it at all. The opponent's strength was at least not lower than he was at the peak. It didn't take long for me to break through to reach the ruler. It is only the ruler in the realm, but my combat power is slightly stronger than the realm, and I can barely match the master. Jian Wushuang said directly. He is not hiding. I don't really have anything to hide from someone who is dead and only has a hint of consciousness left. Compared to dominate? Xuebei stared. Gu Lao, who was next to him, was also startled. If someone else said that he had defeated the ruler's main combat power, and they had rivaled the ruler, they would certainly not believe it. But this is what Jian Shuangshuang said. 20,000 years ago, when Jian Wushuang came to the Blood North secret territory, he revealed his incredible talent and the amazing secrets contained in him. At that time, Xuebei knew that Jian Wushuang's origins were not trivial. Such a person, at the master level of the rule, dominates the combat power, but it is barely convincing. Alas, they were still shocked. You know, that's the master. How many dominated the whole world of the early gods? There are only a handful of them. I was just unwilling to die in such an unknown way, and I will give you all my chances. The purpose is also to pass you on, and let my name of the Blood North be transmitted to the early world again. But I did not expect that this behavior will even create a big monster that can rival the master at the level of the master of the rule. Xuebei shouted, and there was a hint of excitement in his heart. Although he also understands that Jian Wushuang can reach this step today, it must be that he has put in a lot of effort. As for the opportunity he gave, he may have given Jian Wushuang some help, but to say that Jian Wushuang relies on his chance to achieve this step today, it is certainly impossible. But even if this is not the case, it is worth the excitement and pride of Xuebei. After all, Jian Wushuang once got his chance, but also got his favor, and even said straightforwardly, in the growth process of Jian Wushuang, there is a stroke of him, which is really something to be proud of. Jian Tianhou. Xuebei started, but paused. I call you like this, is it okay? Of course, no problem. Jian Wushuang smiled. In fact, Jian Wushuang's combat power is now the dominant level, and even if the Blood North is the peak, it is only a master of the rules of the Void Realm. For strength, if the Blood North sees Sword Wushuang, it will be worshipped even if it worships the capital. Not too much. Chapter 3657. The second one is coming, and the third one will be later. That particular time and space has a long history. Qi Jian Wushuang simply recounted his experiences in that special time and space. Not only was he trapped in that special time and space for 97,000 years, but also the scene when he saw Feng Mao after breaking through the 18th. However, although Jian Wushuang also mentioned that the special time and space is behind a cosmic overlord from the depths of the universe and a top supreme powerhouse, he did not tell Xuebei about the name of that supreme. That is Lingyun Supreme. After all, he promised Feng Mao at first not to tell others about the special time and space. But now, even though he has already died, only a trace of consciousness remains. but Jian Wushuang still only said some blood north. It doesn't hurt to know. Suddenly, after learning from Jian Wushuang's mouth, Shuebei couldn't help sighing after knowing that the special time and space was truly hidden. I guessed at the beginning that the special time and space is extraordinary. It must contain great opportunities and great opportunities. Now it seems that it is. But any chance is accompanied by a crisis. Jian Tianho, you were able to break through the 18 perfection, that even the Dominator could do nothing. It was really amazing. It should be possible to get the chance. As for me, I was lucky. I'm smart enough to keep going, otherwise. Shuebei couldn't help shaking his head. When he first entered that special time and space for the first time, he looked forward to the opportunities in that special time and space. But fortunately, he felt an extremely scary sense of crisis in that special time and space. It was that sense of crisis stopped him, and eventually chose to leave. And if he didn't stop, walked forward and entered the trap of the high platform, then he must have died long ago. And it is absolutely impossible to leave the star map that went to that special time and space, the same special one. I'm afraid that there is nothing in Sword and Time. Mr. Shuebei, I came to this secret place specially this time. In addition to giving you an answer, there is another thing. Jian Wushuang said positively. Do you want to refine my Blood North secret? Blood North looked at Xiang Jinshuang. When the sword Wushuang got the chance to leave the Blood North mystery, he accounted for Jian Wushuang. If he breaks down and becomes the master of the rules in the future, he can come back and refine this Blood North mystery. Now Jian Wushuang has apparently just broken through and become the ruler, and the secret place of that day has not yet been opened. Yes, I want to refine this mystery. Jian Wushuang nodded. I'm curious. Shuebei was surprised. You can now compete with the master, and with your strength, you can easily open up a secret world of your own. But it takes some time and energy, or if you really want to save time and refine the world of heaven and earth, with your strength, you can also find a stronger and more powerful world of heaven and earth. Why are you still interested in my Blood North? Well, it's true. I already have a better choice for the secret world. But the secret world is going to be refined, but it is very difficult. It requires some experience in refining, so I came here. The sword is unparalleled. You are refining my Blood North secret, just to accumulate experience? Blood North frowned slightly. Yes, I hope you can do it, Mr. Shuebei. Jian Wushuangdo. Shuebei groaned for a moment, and then said, By the way, I am all dead. There is no use for this mystery. I originally intended to give it to you. As for how you use it, you need to refine it. And then it collapses on its own. It's all up to you, but Gu Lao here. Mr.